The tip of the spear was like a flash of lightning, a spearhead thrust to skewer the heart. Even attempting to evade it was pointless. It was but a flash, too swift for the human eye to follow. And yet, moonlight swept in to save me from the strike that threatened to end me. The sound was beautiful like the tolling of a bell. No, truth be told, the sound hung over me, heavier than an iron weight. This beauty had little to do with aesthetics. The stark armor wrapped about her was like the frozen night itself. The ringing was not, in itself, pleasant. It was the sound of steel. But the night herself was beautiful enough to make it into the chiming of a bell. I ask of you, are you my master? Her voice resonated in the darkness. I have come in response to your summons. Henceforth, my blade is with you, and your fate with me. Our pact is now sealed. Indeed, the pact was sealed. Just as she chose to serve me, I'm sure in that moment that I swore to save her. The moonlight cut through the darkness. As if in imitation of the night, the storehouse regained its former calm. Time had stopped. The vision before me had lasted less than a second. Be that as it may, I will always remember the sight of her as clearly as if it were still happening now, even if I fall into the depths of hell. The faint slant of her profile, her serene, divinely green eyes. For a moment, time stopped, and her silhouette, draped in blue, swayed in the wind. I was struck by the pale blue glow. Her hair, as fine as golden thread, was bathed in moonlight.
Oh?
This happened 10 years ago. I see someone who takes me back. He's tall with chiseled features. I've never known him to crack a joke. He ruffles my hair affectionately. No, that's not what this is. It's more like he's grasping my head and working it like a stubborn jar lid. Maybe he doesn't know how to control his strength. That's only to be expected. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. It's time for me to leave. You know what to do next. I answered yes in a somber voice. He nodded once, withdrew his hand, and stood up. That's all. Had I known this would be the last time we would ever see each other, I would have done my best to make him laugh with the perfect joke. I'd been practicing punchlines in private in the hopes of finally seeing a smile crack that stony face. If I have one regret, it's that I never got to tell him any of my jokes. Get the association in your depth before you become an adult. Any decisions after that, I leave up to you. I'm sure you'll manage on your own. So he said, but I bet he was worried about me. He told me about our family's heirloom jewels, the gems passed down to us from our grandmaster, and how to manage the underground workshop. It was a rapid-fire course of subjects he'd never taught me before. Even as a child, I realized that he would probably never come home again. There was a war. Not a war between countries, but between people. But in this war, there were only 7 combatants. It might not have seemed fitting to call it a war, but having mages involved changed things. Seven mages from different factions competed, but I wasn't sure why. They killed each other using methods I didn't really understand. One of them was the man in front of me. It meant that he would kill and eventually be killed. I'm sure he felt the ticking of his life's clock even more keenly than I did. Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it. But above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages. And with that, he ruffled my hair one last time and left. I never saw him again. My father/teacher was one of the masters who participated in the Holy Grail War. He never came home. Safe travels, father. I bid him farewell as a well-behaved daughter should. I knew I was on the verge of tears, but I didn't let them show. I loved him. He was a great father, and an even greater mage. Mages are stubborn people. As far as I knew, there wasn't a more upstanding man in the whole world. As my instructor, he trained me. As my father, he loved me. So, I decided I'd accept the things he left for me and choose my own path. Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it, but above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages. In the end, his final words for me were given as a mage, not a father. That's the moment I made up my mind. Alright, I guess I'd better do everything I can to become a worthy mage. It's only natural for an apprentice to live up to her master's hopes. That's how I, Rin Tosaka, grew up after experiencing life's twists and turns. It's been 10 years since my father went off to war. I wouldn't say I've been looking forward to this day, but I am a bit on edge. That goes without saying. After all, that moment which was burned into my memory 10 years ago will soon be upon me again. January 31st. I hear something. Ring, ring. Shut up. Stop. The noise doesn't stop. It's such an infernal racket, it's almost as if it's here to avenge my father. Now, I was up late, just a little longer. I wish it just let me sleep a bit more. In fact, it should. I stayed up into the early hours deciphering my father's will, and I used a hell of a lot of magical energy to do it. I'm totally exhausted, body and mind. Good grief. Cut me some slack, would you? Ring, ring, ring. The alarm clock is deaf to my complaints. What kind of machine makes a noise that seems like its sole purpose is to remind you that you're late? Late. Oh? I can't be late. True, but there's a time and place for everything. No matter how much of an overachiever I am, I should try to make it to school on time, at least for today, if only slightly. Oh, right. I set my alarm 30 minutes early, which means I should still be able to sleep another 30. Doesn't that sound off? 30 minutes early? I peer at the alarm clock through sleep-heavy eyelids. The hands point to 7 o'clock on the dot. I usually get up at 6:30, which means I've completely used up my safety margin. Speaking of which, why is my brain so slow in the morning? I glare at the alarm clock for several seconds. I shut off the alarm and climb sluggishly out of bed. The morning chill bites at me as I cross the hallway and enter the parlor. This is the final 7 a.m. in January. Winters in Fukuoka are relatively warm, but the mornings here are cold as anywhere. Even at home, my breath mists white. It's that much colder without anyone else living here. Heater. I turn on the heater and go wash up. Single living is so inconvenient at times like these. If there was someone else here to wake up before me, then the parlor would already be heated. I wash my face at the sink. I run a brush through my long hair and get dressed. A chilly morning in a frigid bathroom. The only thing to be said for it is that the cold water mercilessly beats the sleepiness from me. With the final tug on the ribbon on my collar, I finish getting dressed. All that's left is to have a breakfast and go to school. The clock reads just past 7, so my morning rush feels a bit anticlimactic. I don't even need to run then. Of course, I'd never do anything so uncouth as sprinting to school. The Tosaka family motto dictates that we conduct ourselves with confidence and elegance at all times. My ancestors must have been some high and mighty aristocrats if that's what we've taught through the generations. The anachronistic mansion I live in is proof enough of that. Plus, the Tosakas are a line of spellweavers who practice what is known as magecraft. We're not just an old family. We have an admirably storied history. Not that it's anything to brag about. In fact, I literally can't talk about it. The truth is, I'm a mage! Who could I even brag about that to? As the name suggests, magecraft is what most normal people would see as magic. It sounds like supernatural woo-woo! And if you'd like to think of it as just wiggling your fingers and saying abracadabra, abacadabra, abacudaga, that's fine too. Just think of us as people who chant weird words and make equally weird stuff happen. That said, we don't fly around on broomsticks. We don't shoot stars out of wands either. We can do things kind of like that, but there's no point, so we don't. We're pretty much heretics who lurk in the shadows of society. We're not allowed to draw attention to ourselves, and anyone who has time for that kind of thing would rather spend it on their research. Ordinary humans might call us magicians, but that would be wrong. In fact, there are only 5 magicians in the whole world. Magicians are what we call people who can do something no one else can. They can accomplish feats beyond the means of modern science and perform genuine miracles. Similarly, magic is a label we use for mystics. Magical mysteries that can't be realized with any amount of time or skill. While magecraft, though it looks mysterious, is something anyone can do with enough time and resources. I'm a mage, and the kind of mystics I use are merely magecraft, not true magic. Confusing, I know, but that's how it works. Also, modern civilization doesn't accept the existence of mages. We believe in, manipulate, and study things that can't be measured, which puts us at odds with modern society. Above all, there's no point to any of what we do. You'd be so much happier just going off to a normal school and becoming a normal adult than you would studying magecraft. Human technology has accomplished great things. For the last few centuries, magecraft has been playing catch-up to the progress of civilization. Nothing is impossible for humanity anymore. Miracles that could only be realized with magecraft in the distant past have been reduced to common tools and appliances. Even so, magecraft does have its benefits. Just as there are some things only science can accomplish, there remain heights only mystics can reach. If science is racing into the future, then mages are racing into the past. I think the Tosaka Grandmaster said that. Whether you're heading into the past or the future, your destination is the same. 0. Or something like that. We can shelve the difficult topics for now. Philosophy is for the elderly! I finished my breakfast and pick up my bag. Oh right, gotta bring my pendant. I'm elected to take something so valuable to school, but it would be a waste to leave it behind. I mean, this thing's 100 years old. It's by far the most powerful jewel we have. One could even say it's on an entirely different level. I obtained the gem after just coding my father's will last night. It's imbued with 10 years worth of my own magical energy. I've been told that the Tosaka family has heirloom jewels passed down since the olden days, and this might be one of them. Tosaka Mages specialize at the conversion and flow of power. We channel our magical energy into precious gems whenever we have a spare moment. Simply put, I'm the gun, and the jewels are the bullets. The other main thing I've inherited from my father is a magic crest engraved into my left arm. A magic crest is proof that I'm the heir to our lineage. It's like all the techniques of the Tosaka condensed into a tattoo. Can't let my guard down, even if it hasn't started yet. For now, I stow my pendant, my father's keepsake, in a pocket. It's my trump card. There's nothing I can't do with the power stored in there. It's 7:30. I'd better leave soon if I don't want to be late for school. I weave energy into a brief foreign phrase. As a mage, I can't neglect the security of my home base. That still applies even if I've never had so much as a single burglar, lost child, or stray cat wander into my home. Actually, I don't think the neighbors have ever even come over to say hello. That's fine with me, but why don't I ever get any stray cats around here? I look up at the mansion that's been my home for over a decade. Fuyuki is a strange city. One side of the intersection dividing the residential areas is filled with old samurai estates, while the side I'm on has an abundance of mansions built in European style. Apparently, a whole bunch of foreign families immigrated here long ago, but I've never seen a single foreigner around. There's even a cemetery for foreigners in Shinto, the new part of the city, across the river, but it was built for the generation that immigrated here. Maybe Japan just didn't suit them. I make a mental note to ask the priest about it next time I visit the church. He's nothing if not full of boring trivia for sure. Oh? Something feels off as soon as I step outside. That's weird. It's quieter than I thought. There's no trace of the typical morning bustle. At 7:30 in the morning, there would normally be students and workers on their daily commute. I guess it's just one of those days. Maybe everyone slept in. It's unusually cold today, so everyone must be snuggled up in bed. Still, though, even if that were true, it's strange that there isn't a single student on the street. At this time of day, you'd expect to see at least a school uniform or two. And yet, from where I'm standing at the school gate, it looks like morning club activities are just starting up. Which can only mean...
Huh?
Tosaka, you're
You're
awfully early today. I knew it. With a light sigh, I turned to face the student who called out to me. Morning. Sure is cold today. The girl who addresses me so casually is Ayako Mitsuzuri. She's my classmate in 2A, and she has quite a history. Morning, Mitsuzuri. And sorry for the weird question, but do you know what time it is? It's not even 7 yet. You still asleep or something? She waves her hand in front of my face as if to ask if anybody's home. Ayako is one of my few friends, and she knows I'm not a morning person. She's probably figured out by now that I'm still not completely with it. The clocks at home are an hour ahead. All of them, apparently. I thought it was just my alarm clock, but the grandfather clock was off too. What's going on here? Father must have set the clocks to go haywire once I took the pendant out of the underground cellar. Tosaka. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Are you on your way to morning practice, Mitsuzuri? Yeah, there's a lot of troublemakers in the Kyudo club, and we're down one of our best shooters. We need to put on a good show if we're going to attract first years in April. I see. Sounds rough. Way to show you care. Oh, wanna come see? I'm sure the boys would love to know you're watching. The Kyudo club, huh? I'm acquainted with 3 of its members. One is Ayako, the girl I'm talking to now. I barely ever speak to the other 2. Of those latter 2, there's one that I actually can't explain away as simply an acquaintance. I became friends with Ayako, the club captain, because I'd been watching the club from afar. Okay, as long as it's just watching, I'll come. It's not like I have anything else to do this early in the morning. Nice. Good, let's get going. One of our school's trademarks is its well-equipped archery range. The chair of the school board has a passion for Kyudo, traditional Japanese archery, so they built a magnificent range on campus. It's kind of a waste for a high school club, to be honest. Come on, let's go! There's still time before practice starts, so I'll get you some tea. Ayako tugs on my arm, looking somewhat pleased. If I'm being honest, her brusque way of speaking is a bad habit. As Ayako said, there's no one else at the range. We sip Japanese tea that's so hot it numbs my tongue as we prepare ahead for today's classes. The hot drink is delicious in a quiet, wintry archery range. Okay, I'll get right down to it. What's up with you today, Tosaka? Did you finally reel in someone good? And she uses the occasion to ask me something completely ridiculous. You're just getting straight to it today, hmm? Should I take that tone to mean you beat me to the punch? No comment. If you're not showing your cards, then neither am I. So, how about it? If you being so tired is anything to go by, I bet I'm right on the mark. No comment either. But I guess even if I tried to hide it, you'd see right through me. Sadly, not yet. What about you? Can you really afford to take your time on the romantic front? You're not wrong. Things aren't looking too good. Sure, I could grab someone just for appearances, but quality matters, you know? I shouldn't compromise when my future's on the line. Are you that worried you'll make the wrong choice and lose to me? Obviously! The important thing here is that you lose to me. What I actually gain in the process is secondary, really. She chuckles confidently. You're 2 peas in a pod. Yeah, I told you when we met that this is what it'd be like between us. she did, didn't she? Kill or be killed. I'm sure that's how it'll be between the two of us. I was genuinely surprised to have someone say that right off the bat. Translation. Our friendship won't bloom unless we're constantly trading blows. Is what Ayako was getting at. I agree with her. In the 2 years since then, I still haven't figured out whether she's my friend or my nemesis. How did he get on this again? What? You started it, Tosaka. You complained that you never have a boyfriend, so we decided to make it a contest to see who catches one first, remember? Ah, right! That was the deal! We said that whoever loses has to do whatever the winner says for a day, right? Yep. I don't think even kids make deals like this anymore, but we're both sore losers. No matter what happens, the loser has to honor the deal. Gotta say, I'm looking forward to winning. Ayako snickers in delight. My goodness. Ayako Mitsuzuri is, to put it mildly, a handful. I'll admit I'm looking forward to winning myself, so that goes for us both. I see. But, Mitsuzuri, you can look forward to the future. Don't lose sight of the goal. There's more to our contest than being first to the finish. I know. It's not a real victory unless it's a relationship that makes you green with envy. That's the biggest challenge for us both, though. Doesn't matter how great of a guy he is if we can't bring ourselves to love him. Ayako's sigh is heavy. From what I've heard, she's known as a bit of a misandrist. Can't put too much stock in gossip, though. That she made this bet at all means less that she just doesn't like boys and more that she hasn't found the right person. That aside! Wait, when did this become we? I'll have you know that I'm not an ice queen like you. I'd have no problem liking a boy. Yeah, not buying it. Maybe you just haven't realized it, but I can't imagine you getting soft on a boy. You're always getting asked out and you've never once said yes. You'd think that, if you were actually interested, you'd at least date a few. I'd say your record speaks for itself. You don't care about boys. You have no imagination at all, do you? What if I already have feelings for someone? Whoa, talk about tall tales. But sure, I can appreciate a good romance. Ayako's tone isn't mocking. She nods solemnly. Her sigh tells me that it would be nice if it were true. I don't believe myself. I really can't hide anything from her. So can I. She's right. I know very well how cold I am. I'll concede that I'm a novice when it comes to romance. That you are. Two peas in the pod, right? Damn, it's already 7. We better cut the secret meeting short. Who knows when someone might walk in on us. Time to start acting like students. Oh, look at you! What a social butterfly. It was worth waking up early just to see it. Not as much as the great Rin Tosaka. I'm the David to your Goliath. Your ability to fake being a goody two-shoes at school is practically an alternate personality. Ayako sniffs exaggeratedly. I empty the rest of the teacup she poured me and brew a new pot. So, why not join a club? Don't feed me your usual bull about being unathletic. I still haven't forgotten how you beat me in every fitness test last year. You had me beat in lung capacity though. And weight. Yeah! I gained 3 kilos! Wait, that's nothing to celebrate, damn it! You tricked me! Ayako slaps the table. Careful! You might spill the tea. Shouldn't the club captain be taking better care of the place? Shut it. I'm your rival first, and club captain somewhere after that. If there's no one else around, you can bet I'm ready to take the fight to you. Ayako side-eyes me with a huff. She has a unique idea about beauty. A beautiful woman must walk the martial path. She's always going on about that. Not surprisingly, she's well versed in most martial arts. Judo was the discipline she was least skilled at, so she joined the club and worked her way up to captain. She's probably one of the top 3 people in our school you'd least want to mess with. Should you really be saying that you stop being a captain if none of your club members are around? Why not? I'm only captain for show. I can just have the more unruly members take care of any grunt work. Plus, there's better shooters than me anyway. I don't have any captain's honor to defend. That's so. I recall Miss Fujimura saying you were the best they had. Coming from her, it's a bit of an ego boost, but still, she's only saying that because of the guy who left. You're right, though. If Miss Fujimura thinks that much of me, I'd better act like a real captain. That's the spirit. And speak of the devil, here come your clubmates now. Time for me to go, but make sure you do your part. What? You're not gonna watch us shoot? I wouldn't understand it even if I did. It's one thing to watch from afar, but the uninitiated shouldn't loiter in the dojo. Just as I get up to leave, the first club members begin entering the archery range. Good morning, Captain. Morning, Mato. Are you by yourself today? Yes. I'm sorry I couldn't convince him to come. It's fine. If he doesn't want to, there's no point forcing him. Ayako speaks to the first club member to arrive. I'll be going then. See you later, Mitsuzuri. Yeah, later, Tosaka. Have a good day, Tosaka. Thanks. Hang in there, Sakura. I leave the dojo behind so as not to get in the way. Morning, Tosaka. Funny running into you so early. Oh no. And here comes a person I at least wanted to see. Good morning, Mato. You're here early. Of course I am. I'm the captain, so I need to set a good example for the first years. Shinji Mato from class 2C grins at me. He's the vice captain of the Kyudo club and darling of half the girls at school. It's mostly thanks to his looks, of course, but he's also admired for his good grades, social graces, and being kind to girls, and being an overall heartthrob or something like that. I really don't follow that kind of stuff. It's just what I hear my classmates say. I see. Hate to burst your bubble, but I'm pretty sure you're forgetting an important part of that motto. Try to remember next time. Oh, what's that? Vice. I don't care whether you're captain or vice captain, but if you make a point of leaving it out, people might think it bothers you, vice captain. You're right. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Tosaka. Not sure I did anything you should thank me for, but hey, I'm not going to stop you. With that, I turn to leave the range. Well, hang on. You're here to watch, aren't you? You're more than welcome to stay. Pass. I don't want to interrupt your practice. I don't mind at all. If anyone says otherwise, I'll kick them out. So, why don't you stick around? I already said I don't want to intrude. It's not as if I'm particularly interested in Kyudo. I'm not really excited to watch a bunch of people I don't know shooting arrows. What's that, Tosaka? You don't care about Kyudo? Huh? I must just be confused after seeing you watching us after school so many times. I don't know what he's playing at, but he seems to have seriously misunderstood things. So, you knew, Mato? Yeah. Our eyes met often, you and I. I saw you watching me. I wanted to call out to you, but you know how it is. I can't raise my voice on the range. Shinji starts closing in on me, looking pleased with himself. I see the triumphant glint in his eyes competing with that affable smile. I had it wrong all along. I thought you liked watching us shoot, but you aren't interested. Why were you watching then, Tosaka? Ah, now I see. It would sound like that, wouldn't it? Would you mind taking a step back, Mato? I like my personal space. What was that, Tosaka? Wow, you're still not getting it. This isn't my usual style, but I guess it's what I'll take. I guess it's what it'll take. Here, I'll make this real simple, so even you can understand. I am even less interested in you than I am in Kyudo. I didn't even know you were in the club, and I doubt I'll remember next time either. What did you just say? I must have touched a nerve because he tries to grab me roughly. I twist out of his reach and turn to leave. Bye, Mato. Sometimes a little self-consciousness can do you good. Tosaka! You little... Shinji sounds like he's about to say something, but he keeps his temper and doesn't chase after me. The guy's all style, no substance. If he had even a little backbone, the people around him wouldn't suffer nearly so much. I take the rear entrance into campus from the archery range. It's past 7 now, but there still aren't any students in the hallways. Hey, it's Tosaka! Good morning, Miss Fujimura. Yep, good morning to you! I just love how you're so polite to teachers like me! The strange woman pretends to sob in delight. It may be hard to believe, but this extraordinarily affectionate and happy-go-lucky woman is actually a teacher here. Is there another way to say good morning? There sure are! The first years all greet me properly, but once they're upperclassmen, they stop using my surname. Don't follow their example, alright? I'm not quite sure I understand, but I wouldn't be rude to you. Good girl. Oh, how I wish they could be more like you, Tosaka. With a parting wave and a see ya, Miss Fujimura leaves. Fortunately, she isn't my homeroom teacher. Miss Fujimura teaches English. Her sunny attitude belies her expert rank in Japanese fencing, kendo. In her student days, they called her the Fuyuki Tiger. That's the mystery, though. You'd think someone known as a tiger would be feared, not adored, right? Miss Fujimura cheerily heads off in the direction of the archery range. For some reason, she's the faculty advisor to the Kyudo club instead of the Kendo club. It's just before 7:30. I can see students doing their club activities in the school grounds, but there's hardly anyone indoors. Except... Tosaka. He always blurts out my name like I did something wrong every time he sees me. Well, if it isn't the student council president. It's a little early for patrolling campus, isn't it? Or are you maybe fixing up the club rooms? You're diligent as always. Not that I care. Just what are you doing? You're not even in a club, so why are you here so early? I just felt like it. I'm not an early riser like your family, Ryudo. The student council president's handsome face darkens with suspicion. He seems to have it out for me. I really don't know why. Maybe me saying temples are so dull, past, is what started it. One question for you. Have you been staying late on campus lately, Tosaka? Nope, I'm in the go-home club. You know that. Naturally, as the appointed student council president, I'm well acquainted with all of our students' affairs. That's nice. I'm not sure why you bothered asking then. I hope you're not trying to pawn your student council work off on outsiders. Spy on your fellow students yourself. Don't ask me. It's got nothing to do with me. In what way are you an outsider? Don't think I haven't noticed the way you used your wiles to get your hooks into a treasure, you vixen! Well, that was uncalled for. Mitsuzuri just asked me to publicize your club budget allocation. Don't the students have a right to know how their funds are being spent? That's all it was to you, wasn't it? The psychological damage you inflicted on the treasurer made her take an entire week off. I wouldn't be surprised to see just how twisted your ethics are. Look who's talking. You ought to keep your staff on a tighter leash. Playing favorites with the cultural clubs doesn't seem fair to me. I know that. That's why I was going to audit them myself. It's fixed, Issei! Just then, an unexpected visitor makes his presence known. Oh, sorry, Amina. You're doing all the work while I'm out here, and I just asked for your help with the repairs. Forgive me. Don't worry about it. Where's the next one? We don't have much time. The AV room then. The equipment's been acting up for a while, and it finally gave up the ghost. If it's completely broken, I can't fix it. It'd be easier to buy a new one. You're right, but I'd still appreciate it if you take a look. Looks like it's on its deathbed to me, but you might be able to nurse it back to health.
そうか。なら試そう。
Okay, I'll try. Beckoned by the other student, the president leaves. I stopped thinking during the sudden turn of events. The other boy, wrench and screwdriver in hand, turns as if he's remembered something.
朝早いんだな、遠坂。
You're early today, Tosaka. He awkwardly mutters and leaves. Was that supposed to be a greeting? The president and a student called Emiya walked off into the distance.
Hi.
That would be Shiro Emiya from class 2C.
それはいいんだけど。
I hope that's all it was. How do I put it? The wrench looked right at home in his hands, but I'm not sure if it's because it makes him look tough or handy. At 7:30 a.m., there's nobody else in classroom 2A. I take a seat at my desk and flip through my math workbook. There's still 30 minutes until morning homeroom. I've got time to kill until my classmates start arriving. The classroom is lively as lunch break begins after fourth period. My school has a cafeteria, so only about half of the students stay in the room. It's mostly girls that stay behind. The girls think the cafeteria is a bit too liberal with the seasoning, so...
遠坂よかったらお昼ご飯一緒に食べませんか Have lunch with me?
We girls tend to enjoy our lunches as a group.
ありがとう、三枝さん。
I'm sorry, I can't, Saigusa. But thanks for asking. I'll be eating at the cafeteria today. I overslept this morning, so I didn't have time to make lunch. Of course. Sorry for ambushing you with that. Saigusa looks guiltily at her feet. Did I say feet? Fuck. Among the refined and well-behaved students of Class A, she's the most demure. For some reason, she's really nice to me. There's no reason to apologize for. I just didn't have time to make a lunch today. Please, ask me again tomorrow. I let her down as gently as I can and offer a genuine smile.
Okay. So you didn't sleep in too, huh?
Perhaps my smile made her feel better. Saigusa, turns back to her table looking relieved. She's adorable. Yukika Saigusa isn't drop-dead gorgeous, but her smile always puts everyone around her at ease. It does happen. I don't let it show, but I'm really not a morning person. I can't get up early enough to be in any clubs. Saigusa somehow maintains an elegant air even when startled. Watching her reactions is always so calming, but that doesn't mean I have time to just stand here and talk. If I keep up a conversation with someone so disarming, the real me is bound to show herself. I'm off to the cafeteria, then. Enjoy your lunch!
You too, Tosaka!
Saigusa and I exchange some graceful greetings, and she returns to her friends. I see that she's eating with Kaede, Makidera, and Kanehimuro. Oh, right. Wasn't Saigusa the track and field club manager? Makidera and Himuro are the track and field club's rising stars. Makidera's a bad influence with whom I go window shopping on days off. But I don't know Himuro too well. Looks like you got dumped, Saichi! Told you that Tosaka didn't bring lunch. If you wanna hook her, you gotta bring enough food for both of you! Maki, can't we just go to the cafeteria with her too, then? Nah, it's too cramped in there to share space with us brown baggers. Plus, it's really annoying how the boys stare when you sit next to Tosaka. Last time we hung out, she hogged all the attention. She's an overachiever and all swanky too. I can't take it! Makida takes hold of Saigusa's desk as she continues to rant about me. Despite her foul mouth, she actually wears a kimono really well, like a picturesque Japanese beauty.
巻き主君の陰口巻き主巻き主巻き主君の陰口は遠坂城に聞こえているようだな巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主君の陰口巻き主君の陰口巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主巻き主君の陰口巻き主巻き主
Makinoji, Lady Tosaka can hear everything you're saying. Meanwhile, Himuro's cool and solid demeanor are a complete foil to that of Makidera. Did she hear me? Oh, I bet she's totally glaring at me.
I don't think she's glaring at you.
Totally shooting lasers. It's the scariest when she's smiling at you. Oh, come on, just let it slide. We're pals, remember? I treated you to taiyaki that one time. Kaede Makidera puffs her cheeks out in a pout, waving her disposable chopsticks in the air. Would you believe that her hobby is collecting wind chimes? The world works in strange ways. At any rate, it's rude to Saegusa to stare at the three of them. Caught between me and the foul-mouthed Makidera, Saegusa looks like she doesn't know what to do with herself. It's alright, Saegusa. And Makidera, I was the one who treated you to crepes, not taiyaki. You really ought to fix how often you work in hyperbole. That smile scares daylights out of me. Makidera holds up her lunchbox lid like some kind of shield. I bid the odd trio farewell, leave the classroom, and slide the door closed. Oops. Give me a break. Taiyaki, crepes? What's the difference? They're both sweet things wrapped in carbs. Makidera utters something blasphemous for a girl. She thinks taiyaki and crepes are the same? Is she even human? Are all desserts the same to her? If I know that her taste buds can't distinguish Flare's 500 yen very, very berry from an 80 yen taiyaki at Edomaya. Damn you, Kaede Makidera. I could have saved 420 yen! Wow, what am I getting actually upset for? I must still be tired from last night. The cafeteria sounds like pain, so I'll just buy some bread from the counter and eat on the roof. I purchased my lunch and head to the unoccupied roof. Though it's different in the summertime, during the winter, the roof is a convenient place to eat that other students tend to avoid. It's too cold to hang out here during lunch, but that's a small price to pay for privacy. Time to eat. I indulge in the tomato sandwich and hot lemon drink I bought from the cafeteria. It's a simple lunch made all the more delicious by the fact that I can enjoy it up here in peace. I finish the sandwich and sip on the warm lemony drink. I'm a little tired. It's hard to balance being an overachiever with avoiding human contact as much as possible. As the saying goes, one should be accomplished at both the pen and the sword. It's a point of pride. No, conviction that I be the top student of the school. I decided that if I was going to be a student, then I would be the very best. I don't want people looking down on the Tosaka name. That's how Rin Tosaka came to be a perfect, flawless student. On the other hand, my occupation as a mage is dangerous, so I shouldn't associate too much with normal people. When a mage is discovered by the public, she has no choice but to eliminate witnesses to protect herself. I'd rather not resort to that. That's why I keep my social interactions purely superficial out of necessity. I only hang out with Makidera on my days off, and I turn down invitations from more sociable people like Saegusa. It's difficult walking the tightrope of being the #1 student at school while making sure I don't become anybody else's #1. And sure, there are times when it tires me out and I feel like life's a real drag. Oh, it's already time. I finish the hot lemon drink and stand up. That's enough sentimentality for today. Time to go back downstairs and become Rin Tosaka again.
homeroom is over. Make sure you log your day shifts and lock the doors and windows.
部活動のない生徒は速やかに帰宅するように。
If you don't have any club activities, try to get home quickly. Class 2A's teacher gives his usual spiel and leaves the room. As far as I know, he said it exactly the same way all year.
Tosaka,
Tosaka, are you going home already? Yeah. I had a run-in with Mato this morning, so I want to leave before it gets out of hand. I figured. He sure had a temper this morning. You must have put him through the ringer. Did he now? Sorry for the trouble. It wasn't really. Mato's always hard on the younger students. It helps them build character. Glad to hear it. I'll make it up to you later. Sure. I hope it doesn't put you off. Stop by again sometime. I make my way home without taking any detours. My time as Dean Tosaka, the honor student, ends once I leave the school. The next half of the day is reserved for the other me. I have to become a mage of the Tosaka. When I arrive back at the house, I'm greeted with the pulsing light of my answering machine. Voicemail. That's rare. Figures. It's Kide. I have a feeling I know what he's going to say, but I'd better listen or I won't hear the end of it later. I press the play button and hear a familiar male voice.
It's me. As I'm sure you're aware, tomorrow is the time limit, Rin. We will have a problem if you procrastinate any further. There are only 2 spots left. I must ensure all the masters are in order, soon.
The priest cuts straight to the point.
If you plan to forfeit your rights as a master, let me know by today. It will take time to dispatch a substitute mage.
Liar! I bet you could find a backup right away.
You have already shown signs of a command spell. Promptly summon your servants and bind them to it. Of course, it's a different discussion if you choose not to take part in the Holy Grail War. If you fear for your life, then come to the church with all due haste.
The voicemail ends. It was a clear message in simple language. If you're going to fight, then be ready by today. If you aren't, then retire, because you're in the way. I don't need you to tell me that. It's only to be expected, I guess. Today's the last day I can drag this out. Thankfully, I managed to decipher Father's notes yesterday. My battle preparations are in order. All that's left is to seize the right to participate, as he said. The Holy Grail War. A fight to the death over a single chalice. A ritual that's gone on for centuries. The mages who take part in the Holy Grail War are called Masters. It doesn't denote a rank of any kind. It merely describes their role. There's a condition to participate in the Holy Grail War. You must summon a familiar called a servant and form a contract with them. Regardless of your skills as a mage, you are not recognized as a master unless you command a servant. There's a clear difference between servants and normal familiars. The way you summon and use them are different. Mages who plan to fight in the Holy Grail War prepare summoning catalysts, but I wish Father had left me something with a connection to a saber. I don't own any relics with a connection to a servant. I can summon one,
Yes. In fact, I could do it right now if I wanted to, as well as form a contract. This town's ley lines are under the jurisdiction of the Tosaka. I'm the heir to a clan that's administered the land for generations, so my performance will not take a backseat to some visiting mage. Although, while that is true, it'd be awfully incompetent of me to embark on a figurative voyage without a compass. Servants are drawn to symbols. To summon a powerful servant, one needs a symbol with a connection to that servant. In other words, Tsumari, I need some outrageously valuable item, like a sword or piece of armor that servant owned, or maybe a bone or heraldry related to them. I had such big hopes for father's will. No, he still did leave me a serious trump card. The pendant I discovered in the basement last night is an ancient artifact of the highest quality. It's amazing all on its own. Still, it won't help me summon a servant. Fine. I don't need to rely on something like that to figure this out. To begin with, I doubt there's any master more qualified to handle Saber than I am. For I am the great and powerful Ring Toast. Alright, I made up my mind. I'd rather not get another earful, and waiting until the last minute doesn't sit right with me. Now the real challenge begins. Tonight I'm going to summon a servant while I'm in peak condition and acquire Saber by force. Late night. The clock reads almost 2 a.m. This is the part where everything lines up. My condition peaks at 2 a.m. sharp. In terms of limits, this will be my first and last chance, so I can't afford even the slightest mistake. Withdrawal within elimination. Engrave 4 circles of withdrawal and surround them with a summoning circle. There. I inscribe magic circles into the floor of the basement. Actually, it doesn't take a major evocation to call forth a servant. Servants are invited by the Holy Grail. Masters anchor them to the world and supply the magical energy to materialize them. But the servants are the ones who choose to respond to the summons. For the elements, silver and iron. For the foundation, stone and the Archduke of Pacts. For the ancestor, my great master Schweinarg. Raise a wall for the wind that shall fall. Close the gates of the 4 directions. Come forth from the crown and follow the forked road leading to the kingdom. Still, I need to keep cautious and focus. Magic circles are normally drawn with blood, but tonight I draw mine with melted jewels. I'm using up half of the jewels I've accumulated over my lifetime, so I'll never financially recover from this if it fails. Still. Repeat 5 times. But when each is filled, destroy it. It's almost 2 a.m. I finished drawing the summoning circle passed down through the Tosaka line and face it with all my being. I flick a formless switch within myself. With a click, I feel my insides turn over to something else. My normal nerves invert and become circuits for conducting magical energy. Rin Tosaka is no longer human. She's just a component in the execution of mystics. I melt from my fingers. No,
I'm filled up from my fingers. The mana I'm taking in is so dense it overwrites my bodily sensations. That's why I'm being destroyed at the same time I'm being filled. Running through my body is the power, mana from the atmosphere. I convert it into a different type of energy through my body's circuits. A mage's body is nothing but circuits. Circuits to connect the ethereal to the material. The mystical outcome we produce is what we call magecraft. My body grows hot. It seems like horns are growing from my forehead. It seems like wings are sprouting from my back. It seems like scales are covering my hands. It feels like there's water pooling around my ankles. Sweat drips. Stab, stab, swords pierce my body. These are the stigmata that reject my body, which becomes a circuit. No matter how gifted a mage is, we're only human. In a human body, the pain is something we must live with whenever we use magecraft. The cycle doesn't let up. Beyond the agony, deep within the trance, lies the mental state necessary for connection. Pain wriggles in my left arm. To aid the caster, my magic crest autonomously begins an incantation, invading my nervous system. The mana and atmosphere I've taken in turns to blood. It's like molten lead, while my activated magic crest resembles thorny nerves. With a crunching sensation, it creeps throughout my body like a thorny centipede. Within the hurt, I forget myself. At the same time, I can feel it taking hold of me, like I've reached where I need to go. My hypersensitive hearing picks up the ticking clock in the parlor. 10 seconds left until 2 a.m. The power filling my body is unquestionably complete. Heed my words. Time to begin. I convert the mana I've collected into a magical energy for fixation. All that's left is to feed all that energy into the engine, the summoning circle, until my body runs dry. Heed my words. My will creates your body, and your sword creates my destiny. If you heed the Grail's call and obey my will and reason, then answer me. My vision goes dark. What lies before me now is the fifth factor, said to be imperceptible to the naked eye. My vision shuts off on its own, fearing what it might see. I hereby swear, I shall be all the good in the world. I shall defeat all evil in the world. 7 heavens clad in 3 great swords of power come forth from the circle of binding. Guardian of the scales! That went off without a hitch. It feels so perfect, it's like I'm reeling in a whale with a fishing rod. Flawless! I'm positive I just drew the strongest card. I can't wait for my vision to return. It'll take a few more seconds, but when it does, I'm sure the strongest servant will be nowhere in sight.
Hi?
Oh.
Hi.
Nothing's there. The room doesn't look different at all. I spun that much ether into this ritual only for absolutely nothing to materialize. On top of that, I think I just heard something explode in the parlor.
Hi.
Why? I bolt. My head's empty at this point. I just run. I race up the stairs from the basement. Door's broken! The door to the parlor is askew off its hinges. There isn't any point in turning the doorknob. And since it won't open whether I push or pull... Damn it! Mo, you stupid thing! I kick it down and burst into the room. And the moment I enter the parlor, everything becomes clear. Everything is in tatters. Rubble is strewn across everything as if something has fallen through the ceiling. On top of it all sits a man cocking his head arrogantly. He must be some kind of criminal. But something graver draws my attention. The grandfather clock, having escaped destruction, tells me the time precisely. Now I remember. Right, of course. The clocks were an hour ahead today, weren't they? Which means it's 1 a.m. Still a full hour left until I'm in peak spellcasting form. I screwed up again. I can complete tasks as well as anybody else, but suffer from the curse of my genetics. When it really counts, I somehow manage to bungle things on an unbelievable level. What's done is done. Just gotta learn from this. I can't believe my own stupidity. Still irritated, I direct my glare at the man lounging haughtily on the rubble. So, what are you? That's the first thing out of your mouth? I seem to have been dealt a truly ridiculous master. The man in the red mantle shakes his head in a show of exasperation. To add insult to injury, he mutters something about drawing the short straw. Oh, now I'm dead certain. This guy has a messed up personality. And is this a servant? I thought familiars were shapeless beings, but this is just a man. No, not just a man. Even from here, I can tell that it's brimming with a shocking amount of magical energy. Don't be fooled by its appearance. I'm staring at something that's undoubtedly more than human. It's a human-shaped ghost that's on the level of an elemental. This is no time to be dumbstruck. That thing belongs to me. I need to get my head in the game. Just checking. But you are my servant, right? That's what I wanted to ask. Are you even my master? I've never been summoned so violently before, and honestly, I'm still struggling to get my bearings. It's my first time too. I'm not answering questions like that. I see. But you weren't here when I was summoned. Care to explain why? Are you serious? You're no baby bird. Don't joke that you can't decide who to serve if they aren't there when you open your eyes. The unidentified servant frowns and a grunt escapes his lips. Maybe he didn't like the way I said it, though he has a mixed reaction, as if still impressed by the logic in my words. Whatever. What I'm asking is if you're my servant and no one else's. I don't have to answer any of your questions until we make that clear. So this is what I get after a failed summoning, huh? I believe there's something else you should be saying. There isn't? In a master-familiar relationship, this is the first detail we need to hash out. The servant's eyebrow twitches. He isn't even bothering to hide his dissatisfaction with me. I wonder if it's because of the half-baked summoning. You want to clarify who serves whom. At least you know how to run your mouth, even if you failed at everything else. Sure, I agree with that opinion. We ought to make clear who's strong and who's weak, or else it'll make this dynamic difficult. The servant eyes me meaningfully, still relaxing on the rubble of my living room. Who's weak? Yeah, I'm a servant, and I'll acknowledge that I serve my summoner. But that's only how it is on paper, wouldn't you say? We still need to establish who's superior, and whether you're worthy to fight alongside. On that point, are you a mage worthy of my service, little girl? The servant smirks. First he destroys my house and acts like he's the king of the castle, and now he has the nerve to ask me whether I'm worthy? I didn't ask for your opinion. I only asked if you're my servant or not. I repeat myself, stealing my gaze. I'm not going to back down from this condescending jerk. I see. You don't even deign to answer such an obvious question. At least you got spirit. You can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Like I said, you're getting ahead of yourself. It's the summoner's duty to confirm this first. Now answer me, are you my servant or not? I step forward aggressively, ready to pounce depending on his answer. Such a stubborn girl. We'll get nowhere at this rate. Very well. For discussion's sake, let's assume that I am your servant. In that case, are you my master? Hypothetically speaking, of course. Obviously! You're the servant I summoned, so who else would it be? I glare at this rude man, giving my seething head a moment to cool down. Well, I suppose I would be, hypothetically. Then where's the proof that you're my master? The servant blithely asks, smirking all the while. He's clearly trying to goad me with these questions into losing my temper. Right here. This proves that I'm your master. I show him the command spells on my right hand. Don't think I was born yesterday. Father's told me enough that I know what command spells are. At least. Good enough for you yet? Any other complaints? I thrust the symbols at him in challenge. The lounging servant rolls his eyes. Are you serious right now, girl? His face darkens, looking even more disgruntled. What did you mean by that? I'm talking about the way you think. Command spells automatically make you my master. They're merely tools to compel a servant. I can't believe you think flaunting some symbols is enough to play master. What I want to see is whether you deserve my loyal service. Does that make sense? But normally you'd think of command spells if someone asks for proof for your master, right? What, you think I'm unqualified to be your master? I wish that were the case, but unfortunately your command spells show that you summoned me. As hard as it to believe, you appear to be my master. He shrugs in mock exhaustion. Uh-oh. I've reached my boiling point, and I'm not going to cool down in time. I'm hardly satisfied, but I'll concede the point. For now, you're my master, but I have conditions. I'm not going to do what you say. I'll decide the direction of battle, and you'll act as I see fit. This is the greatest concession I can give you. I'm sure you don't mind, girl.
Sorry, father. I'm at my limit. Okay, you're saying you'll recognize me even though you don't like it, but you'll ignore my opinions? Or are you just supposed to be my servant?
I ask in a trembling voice. After our spat over the command spells, this is my last desperate attempt at dialogue. And yet... Yes, technically. Therefore, I will obey you, in theory. But I'm the one who will be fighting. You can just hide underground in your house and behave until the Holy Grail War is over. That way, even a novice like you will survive. He's looking down on me, declaring that he expects nothing from me. Did I make you angry? Of course, I respect your position. I was summoned to bring my master victory, after all. My victories will belong to you, as will any spoils of war. You hardly have anything to complain about. You can't even use those command spells. Just leave the rest to me and worry about your own skin.
Is that it with you? Fine. If that's how it's going to be, then I'll use them. No more mercy. I've got nothing else left for a jackass like this.
Don't tell me. It's exactly what you're thinking, you dirtbag. Have you lost your mind? Comma master? Who would waste a command spell on something like this? Shut up! You're my servant, get it? That means you absolutely have to do what I say! The emblem on my right hand aches. 3 command spells. They allow a master to issue 3 unbreakable commands to their servants. Did you even think this through? If you use a command spell in such a vague order... It's too late to whine now. I didn't expect this to happen either. I want to die of self-loathing. I can't believe I just burned one of my precious command spells on a petty squabble! Ooh. After that, I retreated from the ruins of the parlor and went to my bedroom. Before me stands a servant whom my command spells compelled absolute obedience from. Supposedly, anyway. I see. I more or less have you figured out, Master. Who would call this absolute obedience? Just to be clear, do you understand how critical the command spells are, Master? Sure I do! They let me order my servant around 3 times. What about it? Listen, command spells let you force a servant into action. You can use them not only to stop actions, but also strengthen actions. For example, normally I can't come to you instantly from a distant location. But if you order me to with your command spell, it's possible as long as it's something that is attainable with our magical energies. That's what the power of forced compliance means. Not even we servants can resist. Your command spells are three crystallizations of grand magecraft that can make us overcome our bodily limits. Though, you're down to 2 now. I know that! So what? I still have 2 more. It's not like the first order was wasted on you. You're right. I did miscalculate. The more vague an order is, the more the power of a command spell diminishes. They're weaker on long-lasting, broad commands like protect me until the end or win this war for me. The compulsion will be sustained, but there will be servants who can resist the minor pain of disobedience. On the other hand, singular commands like unleash your attack at all costs, next attack at all costs, or do not break that glass are absolute, and even powerful servants will find it difficult to defy them. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you, Master?
わかるわよ。
Yes.
要するに
You're saying that vague commands are pointless.
効果も戒め
If the
も
effect and
薄いな
restriction are both weak, then servants can act against their command spells. It's better to use them on a simple, straightforward order rather than something abstract.
そうだ。
That's correct. A command spell is meant to cause miracles beyond our own means. It's unforgivably foolish to spend them on a task that can be executed by other
君の
means.
先ほどの例示は
That goes doubly for the way you used it
私が君に
earlier.
従うかは話し合いで解
You
決
could have verbally persuaded me to obey you, and even 100 command spells would have failed to enforce absolute obedience.
じゃあ私のさっきの例示は無意味ってこと
So you're saying it was all for nothing?
通常ならそうなのだがな
Normally that would be the case, but it appears you are
君
an
の魔術師
outstandingly
としての
talented
才
mage.
能は桁が違ったらしい
Huh? Is he shocked or happy? My servant's lips twitch upward, even as he sighs.
桁が違ったって
By outstanding, you
もしかして
mean,
ちょっとあなた
hang on. Tell me honestly what your condition is like right now. The implication dawns on me, and I ask him eagerly.
ああ誤算というのはさ
That was my miscalculation.
先ほどの命令では
Your command should have resulted in a change of heart that would make me want to respect your opinion slightly more.
だが今の
But
私は
I can feel a strong compulsion from your every word.
君の意見に
If I voice an objection, let me
そう
think.
だな
It's as if my defiance would weaken me.
つまりマスターの
つまり
意見に逆らうと体
In
が
other
重
words,
くなって動きづらい
My body will grow heavy, making it difficult to move if I defy my master's will. My servant shrugs in resignation.
bleh.
So he's saying that my command spell wasn't a waste, but an actual benefit? He's still being as sarcastic as ever, so it doesn't seem to have had any effect. Besides, even if he's weakened, I doubt even 10 of me could resist if he decided to rebel against me.
前言を撤回しよう
Allow me to retract my previous statement, Master.
年齢は若い
You may be young, but you are a superior
確立し
mage.
た魔術師だ子供とは
It was my mistake for underestimating you as a child and trying to keep you out of the fight. I apologize for my
どれほど
rudeness.
も謝ろう
The servant straightens his posture and gives me a formal bow.
え
Huh?
や
Wait,
め
wait,
て
wait,
よ
hold on. I know we said a lot of things to each other, but it's not like we need to make up
そ
after.
うかいや
Is that so? Okay, good. I'm glad you're so understanding.
なんか切り返し
Awfully quick on the uptake, aren't you?
何誤算は誤算
I indeed miscalculated, but this must be what they call a happy accident. I have no qualms bringing a mage of your talents into the war.
君を
Huh? Is this his roundabout way of saying I'm a strong master?
じゃあ例示
So,
抜きで
so
私がマスター
you
だって認める
recognize
の
me
ね
as your master even without the command spell?
無論だ
Of course.
先ほどは召喚
I
さ
was
れ
still
た
getting my
ばかり
bearings
で
after
馴染んでい
something
なかった
earlier,
が
but we're now completely connected. As a mage, you should be able to feel the bond of our pact.
魔術師であるのなら
契約
Our pact? Now that he mentions it, something does feel weird about my body. Gulp! It's as if my closed-off nerves are now connected to the outside. Specifically, I can feel a portion of my magical energy flowing to the man before me.
そっかサーバ
Oh,
ントは聖杯に
the
呼ばれ
Holy
て
Grail calls the
呼ばれた
servants,
サーバント
but
を
the
無用に
masters
とどめる
keep
の
them
は
in the world.
そう
Yes, that's your power as a master. You supply your servant with magical energy so that they can remain in the world. And my supply is adequate. I have concerns about your inexperience, but your powers make up for it. A common mage would probably faint the second they summon a servant. Yet you're standing here, full of life. Considering the command spell you used earlier, your energy capacity unquestionably makes you a master of the finest caliber. Flattery won't get you anywhere.
何も出ないけど
I break eye contact out of embarrassment. Dwee. Well, I didn't see this coming. I know the command spell is making him obey me, but still, this superhuman servant is sincerely acknowledging me as his master.
であな
So,
た何のサーバント
which servant are you? I clear my head and return to business.
見てわからないか
You can't tell by looking?
それ
Very well then. I take it all back. He's definitely making fun of me.
わかったわ
Fine.
これはマスターとしての
Then
質
I'm
問よ
asking you as your master.
ねえあなた
え
セイバーじゃないの
Aren't you a saber?
残念ながら
Unfortunately, I'm not equipped with a sword. Fuck! When all said and done, I got the time wrong, my summoning circle didn't do its job, and my servant was spat out into some random room. It was far too sloppy of a ritual to summon the strongest servant, Saber. I really botched it this time. I'll never live down failing to pull Saber after spending that many gems.
悪かったな、セイバーでな。
Sorry, I'm not Saber. Huh? I mean, well, sure, but yeah, it's a painful mistake, but I'm the only one who screwed up. Yes, I bet you think Archer isn't a very attractive class. Alright, I'll make you eat those words. When the time comes, I won't be taking any apologies. What? What a surprise. The unidentified servant seems to be sulking. Maybe my fixation on Saber offended him. That strike a nerve, Archer? It did. Just you watch, I'll show you how lucky you are to have me. Archer retorts with a sidelong glance. He has a really spiteful air about him, but that reaction felt somehow childish and free of malice. You know, he might be a pretty decent guy. Okay, make sure I regret what I said, Archer. I'll apologize from the bottom of my heart if so. You better remember that, Master. You'll be grateful once you learn how capable I am. Of course, an apology might not satisfy me at that point. Archer huffs even as his lips twist into a grin. Oh yeah, this one's got a rotten personality, alright. Fine. Anyway, you're a heroic spirit, so where's your legend originally from? Archer doesn't answer. His sardonic expression is replaced by a deepening frown. Archer, your master just asked you a question. It's a secret. Huh? I can't tell you where I'm from because... Hey, I'll get mad if you give me a lame excuse. Oh, well, there's that face again. Archer opens and closes his mouth as if he's having trouble voicing an uncomfortable truth. Because... I don't know. Wait, what? Are you making fun of me again? I don't mean to insult you, but it must be because of the imperfect summoning. My memories are jumbled. I know who I am, but my name and origins are a haze. Still, it isn't valuable information, so there's no need for concern. Of course I'm concerned. If I don't know which heroic spirit you are, then how am I supposed to know how strong you are? And what's the problem? That's a trivial question. There you go again. How am I supposed to form a strategy if I can't tell how strong my partner is? We can't fight a war like this! What do you mean? I'm the servant that you summoned. Naturally, that makes me the strongest. He's so straightforward. The Crimson Knight fixes me with a gaze full of confidence and trust. My brain grinds to a halt. There's no deception in Archer's words. He's sincerely giving me more credit than I deserve, even though we've just met. My cheeks are burning. Yeah, I'm sure I'm blushing bright red right now. Surprise attacks like this tend to be my weakness. Fine then. At least nobody else knows who you are. They say you have to fool your allies to fool your enemies. I turn away from Archer to hide my embarrassment. I'm sure I'll figure out in due time what sort of servant he is anyway. For now, we have other priorities. Okay. I won't ask about your identity for the time being. Then, Archer, here's your first job. Jumping straight to it, are we? Guess you're an aggressive type.
それ
Where's
で
the-
敵は
Before he can say enemy, I toss a broom and dustpan at him. Oh,
下の掃除
go clean up the mess you made downstairs.
あんたが散らかしたんだから責任持ってきれいにしといてね
A few seconds pass in stunned silence. When Archer finally regains his senses, he grips the broom indignantly.
待て君は
Wait,
サー
what,
バントを何だと
what exactly do you think a servant is?
使い魔でしょ
A familiar, right? A little uppity and hard to deal with, though. Archer cuts himself off. I have no intention of letting him off, and if he tries to weasel out of it, I still have a card to play.
意義ありその
I
ような
object.
命令はこと
I refuse
いい
to.
の
Are you
これマスターとしての命
sure?
令よ
This is a direct order from your master. I thought you said you'd feel way down if you went against me.
まああなたはその程度
It's
じゃ
too
どうって
bad
こと
if
ないだろ
that's
うけ
too
ど
much for you to handle. But the penalty will continue until the parlor is clean, you know. Won't that pose a risk to you and we start fighting tomorrow? He stands there for several more seconds with broom in hand, grumbling under his breath. And so the archer in the red mantle closes his eyes.
了解した
Understood.
落ちろマスター
Go to hell, master. And gracefully accepts my order. Now then! It's getting late, so I should rest. I can decide how to deal with him once I wake up. A fateful day draws to a close. No, rather, my fate was shaped by this night. Oh my god. That makes 6, including me. Once the 7th and final master summons their servants, the Holy Grail War of this generation will begin. In a not-so-distant future, the battle I've been waiting 10 long years for is about to commence. Oh, February 1st. The Holy Grail War. It's a grand ritual that's been repeated for hundreds of years. A fight to the death between 7 participants, of which only 1 can survive. It's said that a Holy Grail exists in the land of Fuyuki, and that a number of mages fought over it in the past. Their one and only objective was to obtain the relic called the Holy Grail. However, the Grail's origins are unclear. We're sure it isn't the chalice that held the blood of God, but its power is fearsome enough to be compared to the genuine article. That's right. They say the Holy Grail can grant any wish. Only one person can possess it. The Holy Grail can only grant one wish for one person. Despite that, 7 mages are needed to summon the Grail to this land. 7 collaborators to create one miracle. So, as you might imagine, it was only a matter of time before they started fighting over the Grail. Like so many conflicts, it started as a competition over property rights. The 7 mages equally used the power of the Holy Grail to summon their respective familiars, then do battle over the Grail itself. Only one mage can obtain the Grail. As a result, 7 people who started as colleagues end up in a ferocious battle to the death. That's the gist of the ritual known as the Holy Grail War, a struggle for ownership between mages. The mages chosen by the Holy Grail are called Masters, who use the blessing of the Grail to acquire powerful familiars known as servants. Two things serve as proof that one has become a master: the summoning and command of a servant, and the mark of command spells to compel the servant's servitude. The first goes without saying. The archer I summoned yesterday, no, a few hours ago to be exact, is an Intoseka's servant. As for the second, a master must closely guard the command spells that control one's servant. This is probably the most critical aspect of being a master. When I summoned Archer, symbols appeared on my right hand, namely command spells, stigmata bestowed by the Holy Grail upon the summoning of a servant that marks one's new status as a master. A massive amount of magical energy is compressed into these seals, whose power is fleeting rather than long-lasting. They disappear once they're used, and as their shape suggests, each mark represents a single use. In other words, smutty. Only one only gets 3 shots. A master who has used up all 3 command spells can no longer control a servant, and is as good as dead. Therefore, command spells must be handled with care until the very end, since they're as valuable as one's own life. It pains me to no end that I burned one right off the bat, but it wasn't a total waste, so I'll chalk it up as a win. After all, a servant could turn on its master at any time. If one command spell is what it takes to put a collar on him, then I consider it a fair trade. That's about it for the broader strokes of this business. Once 7 servants have been summoned, the Holy Grail War will begin. Tonight's sleep will be a fitful one. I don't know when the final master will appear, but it could be right around the corner. Is it morning already? I feel sluggish. My bleary gaze goes up to the window, only to see that it's already bright outside. It's after 9? This doesn't even count as being tardy. After a drowsy check of the clock, I make up my mind to skip school today. Body's heavy. Feels like that business mostly drained me. Sitting up in bed, I heave a long sigh. Not being a morning person isn't enough to explain why I feel so dull. I think Archer mentioned something about it. A master would be out of commission after summoning a servant. That's right. I summoned Archer, not Saber. I remember all clearly now. I'd rather not, to be honest, but it's not as if denying the facts will let me do it over. I'll take a day or so to recover my power. I'll just treat today like a break-in period. I drag myself out of bed. A mental boxing match rages between the outside air, which is quite warm for winter, and the comfort of my bedsheets. It concludes in a 3-second knockout against the temptation of going back to sleep. I check my body in the mirror. Nothing out of place aside from the loss of half my usual magical energy. Not that it's a problem. I review the situation. I summon the servant Archer, who doesn't have an ounce of respect for his master. To make matters worse, he doesn't even know who he is. Wow, talk about a headache. I guess that means his trump card is off the table until his memories come back. Can't expect him to use a power he doesn't even remember. Servants are strong familiars all on their own, but what makes them truly formidable is the secret weapon they each possess. Frustratingly, Archer claims to have forgotten what his is. It's my fault he's in this state, so we'll just have to make it work. We're both in the same boat then. I can only pray that he'll sort his memories out, but who knows how long that might take. Good grief. Yada. I've really got my work cut out for... Oh, I might have to reevaluate my opinion of him. The parlor's completely back to normal. I thought he'd maybe just clear away to... That...
Detritus.
The detritus! Detritus? Detritus. I thought he'd maybe just clear away the debris. But the room is so spotless, I can't help but be impressed. He must have felt bad for wrecking the place. I doubt he would have gone to the trouble otherwise. I guess I ought to commend him for being a more decent guy than I am.
日はとっくに昇っているぞ。また
Still taking your sweet time, I see. Need I remind you that we're wasting daylight? I retract my statement. There isn't a remorseful bone in his body.
おはよ
Good morning.
う。そういうあんた
You
は
seem to have
随
made
分
yourself right at
リラックスしてる
home.
よね。今を好き勝手つ
何一晩過ごしてくれたからどこに何があるか把握したよ。おうついでだから厨房も片付けておいた。
I did spend the night after all. Oh, I took the occasion to tidy up the kitchen. I expected it to be inadequate, but it's rather thoughtfully furnished. Quite well kept for a girl living alone in a mansion. I have a headache. Why do I have to put up with a servant judging my interior decoration? I thought servants all cared only about fighting. Are we sure this guy isn't effective?
なるほど。
I see you aren't in your best condition. You were so feisty last night, but fatigue must have caught up with you.
疲れが出たのだろう。紅茶でよければ
I'll
ご馳走しよう。
pour you some tea. I hope black is fine. Acting like he owns the place. Without missing a beat, Archer produces a teacup and fills it with the expensive reddish tea he's been brewing. There's a lot I want to say right now, but oddly enough, I can't work up the indignation to. The way he does it all is so refined. I've got to admit, he might be rather cultured.
まあいいけど疲れてるのは事実だし
I am pretty exhausted, so I'll have some. I sit down on the chair. The teacup is placed soundlessly in front of me. I take a sip. Oh, it's delicious. I expected as much since it's my favorite Chinese tea, a spring harvest hongcha. I'd be upset if it didn't taste good. On that note, I'd normally be upset if someone used my favorite tea leaves without asking. I expected as much since it's my favorite Chinese tea. Did I not just... A spring harvest hongcha, I'd be upset if it didn't taste good. On that note, I normally... Okay. It makes me mad, but the tea was brewed so exquisitely that the pleasure it brings overcomes my anger.
ちょっと何笑ってるのよあんた
Hey, what's so funny?
何感想が聞きたかった。
Well, I was going to ask how you like it, but your face tells me enough.
だけだ
I set the teacup down with a forceful thud.
もったいない。
Oh,
熱い
what a
うちに
waste.
味わった方がい
You
いぞ
should。enjoy it while it's still hot. I can leave if I'm spoiling the mood.
ごちそうさま
No need.
結構よ
Thanks for the
私は茶
tea.
坊主が欲しくて
I
マス
didn't
ターに
become
な
a
ったわけ
master
じ
to
ゃ
be
な
a
いわ
tea snob, and I didn't ask you to do that either.
そうか。
I see.
確かに。
I
私も
agree.
茶坊主にな
I
った
didn't
り
make a contract with you to be your
後片付けを
tea
するため
brewer.
に契約
I'll
した
show
わ
more
けではない
restraint in the future if that's what you want.
ええ
Yeah.
私が求
You're
め
only
ている
here
の
to
は
be a
戦力
combat
としての
familiar.
使い魔よ家事をこなす裁
I've
判
never
と
heard
な
of
ん
a
て聞いたこ
servant
と
that
が
does
ないし
household
す
chores,
る必要も特
nor
に
do
な
I
いわ
particularly need one.
ん特にはないとは
What do you mean by
どういう意味だ
particularly?
別に
Interpret
好きな
that
よう
however
に
you
とって
want.
結構よそれ
More
より
importantly, do you
あな
remember
た
who you are
自
yet?
分の正体を思い出せた
Archer shakes his head in the negative. That doesn't bode well. If you can't remember after a single night, then his memories probably won't return easily.
Oh?
There's some measures I can try today, but...
わかった
Alright,
あなたの記
I'll
憶
think
に
of
関
some
して
solutions
は
for your
こう
memory
いう対
issue.
策を考えとく
じゃあ出
For
かける
now,
支度をして
get ready to
あっ
head
ちゃん
out, Archer. You probably don't know the lay of the land yet, do
紹
you?
介されたばかりで買ってもわからないでしょ
I'll give you a tour of the city.
街を案内してあげるから
出かける支度
Get ready. There's no need for
そんな
that.
必要はないだろう
Surely. If we're
出る
leaving,
の
we
な
should
ら
go
ば
right now.
すぐに出られるか
あのね
Do you plan to
そんな
walk around
格好で出
town
歩
in
くつ
that
もり
outfit?
どう見ても
Anyone
普
can
通
see
じゃ
that
ない
you
し
aren't a normal person, and if another master spots you, they will know you're a servant right away.
私自
I
分
don't
から
plan on
私は
announcing
マ
our
スターで
presence
す
to the
なんて
world.
言いふらす気はないんだけど
ああそういうことか
Ah, so that's your concern.
それも問題はない
There's no problem. Well, I need to change
確かに着替える
clothes to
必要
blend
はあ
in,
る
and
が
that's only while I'm
それは
materialized.
実体化している時だけでねサーバントはもともと
Servants are fundamentally spiritual
非戦
beings.
闘時には霊体
When
に
we're
なっ
out
て
of
マ
combat,
スター
I
に
can
かけ
take
る
an
負担を減
incorporeal
らす
state to reduce the burden on my master.
ああそっ
Oh,
か
okay.
召喚されたって
That's what
英
makes
霊
you a
は
heroic
英霊だもん
spirit.
ね
You need your master's magical energy to form a body, so if I cut that supply,
我々も霊体に
we
戻る
naturally return to spirit form.
そうなったサーバント
In
は
this state, servants are more like guardian
守護霊のようなものだ
angels. We can only be observed by
霊
masters
霊に
connected
繋
to
が
a
ってい
lane
るマ
line.
スターもっとも会話程度はできるか
Of
ら
course, we're still capable of,
偵察ならば
of
しょうがないな。
conversation or reconnaissance.
わ便利
Wow, that's
それじゃあ
handy.
本当に
That would make it really hard for other masters to locate you.
ま
Yes,
あだが
but just as mages can sense other mages, servants can sense other servants.
優れた魔術
A
を知る
servant who is
サーバント
skilled
な
in
らば
magecraft may
遠く
even
離
be
れた
able
サーバン
to
トの
locate
一切
other
把握する
servants from afar. Archer has it in one. Masters are supposed to be capable mages, and the more magical energy the mage has, the better they are at detecting traces of magical energy. As far as I know, however, there isn't anyone else around with that degree of power.
うーん
So what about you? Can you tell where the other servants
他
are?
のサーバント
マスター
Master,
私のクラスは
have you
何か忘
forgotten
れ
which
たのか
class I am? Do you expect a knight to be able to scry faraway enemies?
仕上がりにできるものか
He has a point. Archer's magical energy isn't on that level. It's likely that only the magically powerful caster is capable of easily locating distant foes.
わかったわ
Fine.
じゃあとりあえず
Then
後につ
follow
いて
me,
きて
Archer.
じゃあ
I'll show you the world you've been summoned to.
そう目新しいも
I
のでは
doubt
な
it'll
さ
be
そうだ
particularly new to me.
それよりマスター
Moreover, Master,
Kimi.
haven't you forgotten
大切
something
なことを忘
important?
れ
Huh?
大切なことって
Is that important?
まったく
My goodness, you really
Kimi.
aren't at the top of your game.
まだ
We still
本
haven't
調子ではない
exchanged the
ぞ
most critical point of our contract?
契約
契約において最
Most
も重要な
critical point? Is he demanding equivalent exchange? No, that can't be it. The chance to take part in the Holy Grail War is already reward enough for a servant. There shouldn't be anything else left.
君な
Wow,
朝は
you
弱いん
really
だ
aren't a
本
morning
当に
person. Archer sounds exasperated. His oh so sardonic manner of speech finally gives me an idea. Come to think of it, he's never once called me by my name.
ああしまっ
Ah, fuck! My name! The
思い
doy!
当たったか
Finally cut up,
Ma.
are we? I suppose it
今からで
isn't
も
too
遅く
late.
はないさ
So, Master,
それでマスター
what is your name? What shall I
君の
call
名
you?
前はこれから
Archer
は何と
sounds-
呼べばいい
Sulky. Oh man, he really is a decent person. I'm sure of it now. After all, there's no tangible benefit to exchanging names. Servants are forcibly bound to their masters by the command spells. While names are key to contracting with a regular familiar, there's no need for a master and a servant to be so intimate. Ah! But it's important to Archer. He's clearly trying to establish trust between comrades in arms, regardless of the command spells.
私遠坂凛
I'm Nin Tosaka.
あなたの好
You
き
can
な
call me
よう
whatever
に
you
呼ん
want.
でいい
I
わ
don't really care. I answer in a clipped tone, unwilling to let slip any admiration. He'll probably just call me something impersonal like master or hey you, which works out just fine to me. Except Archer chews on Nin Tosaka for a moment.
それではリンと
Then Nin.
あ
Yes, the sound of that suits you very
あこ
well.
の響きは実に君に
He
似合
says
ってい
something
る
really forward. Kia!
どうした
What's wrong, Dean?
何
You
が
look unwell.
うるさい
Yeah, shut up! I'm leaving Archer! There's no time to be sitting around, yeah!
のんびりしてる暇なんてないんだから
I turn on my heel and storm away, huffing. This is so infuriating. I'm not even sure why. Damn that Archer! Did he just say that to mess with me?
ありえる
I bet he did. Definitely sounds like Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Must be all part of his plan to get me all flustered. I better be careful. Gotta work with this wise guy from here on out. I take Archer outside. Fuyuki City, my hometown, is broadly divided into two halves. There is Miyama, which is left over from the village the city grew out of, and Shinto, the developing modern region across the river. My house is in Miyama, the old part. Miyama is itself split into two areas: the European-style neighborhoods originally inhabited by immigrants from abroad, and the old Japanese-style houses set against a mountainous backdrop. Both areas are situated on hilltops along the outskirts of town. The street dividing the two residential areas is fairly normal by comparison. How normal, you ask? This normal. This is the crossroads of Miyama. On one side lies the road going up the hill to the European neighborhoods where I live. Opposite is the road to the Japanese houses, and between them is the path leading into Shinto, where my school and the shopping areas are, as well as Ryudo Temple in the mountains. We come to the bridge connecting Shinto and Miyama. Years ago, a big train station went up in Shinto, bringing with it a frenzied urbanization. They may belong in the same municipality, but Miyama and Shinto couldn't be more different. The name Fuyuki, written with the kanji for winter tree, is supposedly inspired by the long winters here, which, by the way, are pretty long. Despite that, temperatures are warm. February here is only about as cold as the very start of winter elsewhere. I bet if you randomly started digging, you'd turn up a hot spring or two. Though, of course, our temperate weather disqualifies this town as a hot spring resort location. We've got an odd climate where the mild winters suddenly turn to springtime bloom come April. This is what Shinto looks like. A number of tall buildings have been erected as if in a hurry, giving the hastily developed city a distinctly artificial feel. It all happened in the last decade or so, too. 10 years ago, there was a large fire that wiped out a residential area. Someone built a bunch of glass and metal buildings on the depopulated land. And here is the center of it all. This is Shinto's park. What are your thoughts now that we've been to all the key spots? I ask Archer, who's next to me. Of course, he's invisible. It's a big park. Is there a reason why nobody's here? Feels that way, doesn't it? There's a story behind it, actually. I look out over the park. You'd think that a wide open space like this would have children playing in it, even on a weekday. But instead, there are only a handful of people. The place feels dull and lifeless. It was 10 years ago. Apparently, there was a big fire that burned for an entire day and only went out once it rained. Although the town was rebuilt, this place stayed basically the same. The burnt meadow eventually got turned into a park. Archer says nothing. But I can tell he sensed something odd, even if I can't see him. Noticed, have you? That's right. This is where the last battle of the previous Holy Grail War was fought. It all ended here. I see. So that's why there are so many grudges here. You can tell. Servants are spirits first. Our very existence is similar to grudges or obsessions. That makes us sensitive to lingering emotions such as these. There were other areas around town that felt dense with such a feeling, but this is on a different level. From our point of view, it's almost like a reality marble. From our point of view, it's almost like a reality marble. Tosaka mutters under her breath. Archer's inflectionless voice mentions an unusual bit of magical jargon. In Innate bounded fields. Mages call them reality marbles. Reality marbles are considered one of the apexes of magecraft. They're said to be infinitely close to true magic. Over the last few centuries, bounded fields have served as mages' defensive barriers. To put it in simple terms, they're like a home security system with real teeth. Bounded fields are conventionally erected on a piece of land or a building to guard against outside threats. They're merely an alteration of an area that already exists. Reality marbles, however, are something else entirely. You can think of them as a space that consumes reality itself. When a mage materializes their imaginary world, a representation of their mind, and overwrites the real world with it, we call the resulting field a reality marble. It's a large area magecraft that twists, no, rebuilds the world according to a mage's wishes.
リン、どうした？
Nin, is something on your
考え
mind?
事か？
Reality? Huh? No, I was just a little surprised. I didn't expect to hear the words reality marble from an archer.
なんだ？
Is it so strange that I know it? Well, yeah. To mages, reality marbles are a taboo among taboos. Some of the most esoteric arts out there. It doesn't make sense that an archer would know what they are. I shoot a quizzical gaze in his general direction. In reply, I feel an incorporeal sigh.
リン。
The word hero implies someone familiar with both martial and magical arts. You're free to assume that your archer only knows how to use a bow, but I hope you don't hold the same illusions about the other servants. Oof. That does make sense when he puts it like that. Okay, I get it. I just think that through, and I'll be more careful next time. That good enough for you? Nin, let me be blunt. You're certainly talented, but that makes you tend to underestimate other people. You should break that habit before you become an adult. You really don't know when to stop, you know that? Break my habit? He's talking about me like an unruly racehorse.
いや、失礼。別にリンがジャジャ馬だと言ったわけではない。単にイメージ通りの表現を使っただけというか。
Oh, forgive me. I didn't mean to suggest that you're a horse, but it did feel like an appropriate choice of words. Hey, that's just as... Ow! My right hand suddenly flares with pain. Nin? Quiet down for a second, Archer. The command spells on my right hand hurt. They're throbbing, almost like a dull alarm warning their owner. Someone's watching us. I scan my surroundings. I mentally weave a detection web. And cast it out over the park. I can't find them. Any luck, Archer?
難しいな。
Doesn't look like it. I can't even sense them spying on us. Which means it's a master. I don't know who it is, but if Archer can't tell, then it must be a master. We don't have all 7 yet, but the fighting could still start at any time. Maybe whoever's watching me is up for an early skirmish.
レイジはレイジに反応する。
Command spells react to other command
マスター
spells.
であるのは
For dealing with a master, then you should be able to identify them if we come across them. Would they be able to do the same to you? Yeah, but advanced spellcasters can hide their energy signatures.
いくら霊樹同士が反応するって言っても、その霊樹だって魔力で発動する。
Our command spells may react to each other, but still takes magical energy to activate them. As long as the master keeps their magic circuits shut,
見つけることは難しいわ。
it'll be hard to find them.
厄介だな。では。
That's troubling. Does that mean we're broadcasting our position? Pretty much. If I looked around at home, I'm sure I could dig up a way to mask my power, but... You don't need to? Yep. They'll just come to us first, right? Saves us the trouble of looking. Archer doesn't respond. Maybe he's irritated with me. What? Are you going to tell me not to get cocky? I ask, a little defensive, thinking of our earlier exchanges. Archer mentally brushes the question aside. You're at your best when you're like this. Yes, let the small fry come to us. I can feel the smirk in his tone. I'm not saying I like what he said, but it is enough of an olive branch, I suppose. We start walking around town again. I spend a day taking him to all the important places and even drop by some less significant spots that might be useful to know. After dinner, I make for our final stop. It's now after 7 in the evening. This is a good chance to show him the best vantage point in the city. The wind howls. We're atop the tallest building in Shinto. The commanding view of the city makes for a fitting end to our tour. So, pretty great view, isn't it, Archer? I feel sorry for any future boyfriends. You really know how to run a guy ragged. Huh? What did you say, Archer? Just an honest thought. It is a good position, though. If you'd taken me here first, it would have spared you the effort of all that walking. What are you talking about? It's nice, sure, but you need to visit places to really get the lay of the land. This only gives you a bird's eye view of the city. Not necessarily. You think too little of the archer class. One can't be a good bowman without good eyes. Really? Can you see my house from here then? Not quite that far. Just to the bridge or so. I can count the number of tiles there at least. No way, the tiles on the bridge? I didn't expect his vision to be as good as the telescopes I often see on rooftops. Sharp-eye doesn't begin to cut it. I'm surprised. You really are an archer. Nin, are you mocking me? Of course not! I just take you for a bow and arrow type. That's a misconception we'll have to address when you go home. But that archer goes quiet for a while. He must like the landscape from up here. He's probably considering the layout of the city. I shouldn't interrupt him while he's thinking. I step away from Archer and approach the edge of the rooftop. All I can see from here are the lights below. Headlights flow through the streets, and I can make out people on the way home from work. I can't tell what kinds of cars they are, or who exactly is walking. I can see them, but not clearly. It's not unlike how I could tell someone was watching me earlier, even if I couldn't pinpoint them. At the very least, I know someone's made their base in Shinto. I squint down toward the ground. There are 7 masters in total. I don't know who they are, nor which servants are with them. At this point, every master is probably gathering intelligence on their arrivals. Suddenly, I feel someone's eyes on me. There's no reaction from my command spells. I simply sense that someone else is looking at me. Down there? I peer down. People are walking on the street, but one in particular is gazing up at me as if staring at the moon. I'm not sure exactly who that is. I can't say for certain, and yet I know exactly who. I can't believe that guy. What's he doing out this late? Have you found an enemy, Rin? Archer calls out to me. Maybe he can make out my rising hostility. Not really. It's just someone I know. A normal person who has nothing to do with us. Unable to clamp it down, I irritably snap back at him and step away from the roof's edge. He couldn't have seen me from the ground. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. I haven't given myself away. And yet, my mage side is screaming at me for allowing an eyewitness to catch sight of me. By the time I get back to Miyama, it's 9 p.m. Unlike Shinto, Miyama is mostly residential. After 9, there isn't really anyone outside, and the streets are silent as if it's much later at night. That's it for the tour. Did you get a good look at the city?
あ
Yeah, I understand the layout. I'll pick up more details along the way.
あ、
なら今日は
And
こ
we're
こま
done
で
for
ね。
today. I'm still not feeling
私も
great,
まだ
so
本調子じゃないし、
I'm going home to
家に
rest.
戻って休みましょう。
I start up the hill at a relaxed pace when I notice someone up ahead.
あれ、さくら？
Is that Sakura? Uh-oh. Now would not be a good time to run into her. Go.
リン、何を隠れてい
I
る
mean, why are you hiding?
黙ってて。うん。
There's someone I know
あ
up
そこにいる
ahead.
の知り合いなのよ。
I skipped school today,
今日
so
は
I
学校
don't
休ん
want
だ
her to
し
see me.
あんまり顔を合わせたくないの。
As I answer, I keep an eye on her. In the middle of the street, there's the first year student I know, and a foreigner I don't. They're talking. No, it looks more like he's trying to pick her up, while she'd rather be anywhere else.
知り合いとは外
Are
国
you
人の方
acquainted with the foreigner?
いいえ、知らない。
No, I don't know who that
この
is.
辺りは洋館
There
が
are a
多
lot
い
of
から、
European houses
どっか
here,
よ
so
そから
maybe
遊
he's
び
a
に来てるんじゃない？
tourist. Even as I finish the sentence, I'm mentally telling myself off for being so soft on that girl.
あ、じゃ
Archer,
あ、あいつ。
is he human?
さあ
Who knows?
実態はあるから
I can tell he has a human body, so that makes him no servant at least.
少なくともサーバントではない
そうよね。
Yeah.
マスターでもないし。
He isn't a master
ただの
either, so it's
仕上げ
probably
とか。
just some lover's tiff. Though even I know that she isn't the sort to get caught up in something like
二人
that.
とも言ったな
They're gone. The
女は
girl's going up the
坂を
hill.
登っていく男は
The man... The blonde-haired man descends via the street we came by. Go.
それじゃああなたはここを
You
使
can
っ
use
て。
this room. Any questions
私
before I
は
go to
もう
bed?
眠るけど、何か質問はある？
とりわけ重要な疑問はな
None
い
in particular. It was wise of you to avoid a
す
premature
ぐに
battle.
戦闘を仕
You
掛
should let your strength recover
ける
tonight.
正しいよ
Yeah, I'll
そ
see
れ
you
じゃあ
tomorrow.
明
Make
日
me
今
that
朝の
tea
紅茶
again.
よろしくね。
Once I'm back in my room, the fatigue washes over me.
そうだ。
Oh, yeah, I
眠
need
る
to
前
call
に綺麗
Kirei
に
first.
連絡しないと。
That annoying priest left me a message. By now, he's probably sent for the backup mage. It isn't my problem, but he is my legal guardian. I owe him a phone call at least.
電話電話
Phone. I punch his number into the telephone. Before long, the fake priest picks up.
綺麗？
Kirei, it's
私だけ
me.
ど、
I
昨日
contracted a
サーバ
servant
ーと契約
yesterday,
したから
so you can register me as a
正式
master
にマスタ
now.
ー登録お願い。
There's a brief pause. Kirei's silence is deafening. I can feel its weight even through the earpiece.
いいだろう。ではどうする？
What will you do next? You should stop by. I have something for you from your parents. They asked me to pass it on to you only if you become a master before adulthood.
あ
Oh,
あ。
are you talking about father's will? I already decrypted that. I'll drop by to church if I feel like it. Bye!
待てリン。
Wait, Rin, now that you're a master!
マスターになった
I hang up before he finishes. If I have to listen to Kirei's nagging while I'm this tired, I have a feeling my magical energy will drain away instead of recover.
さて。
Alright, I should be ready. Now let's launch this to sleep! Once I open my eyes, it'll be a brand new day! 10 years ago, my father fought as a mage in the Holy Grail War and lost. Now it's my turn to risk it all for the same prize. And after breakfast, I lay out my plans for today.
何
Are you going to school?
え
Yes.
え。何か問
Do
題
you
あ
have
る
a
かし
problem
ら？
with that, Archer?
問題はないな
It's not a problem, but
それは
Archer looks reluctant but doesn't protest. After spending a whole day with me, he probably understands now that Rin Tosaka doesn't go back on her word once she's made up her mind. I can sense his disagreement even if he doesn't voice it, but I've also learned that Archer has a sincere side beneath all the sarcasm. He won't whine about a decision he's accepted. Yep, he's loyal and awkward like that. That's what my intuition says, at least, after watching him yesterday.
リン
Means now that you're a master, you need to always be wary of enemy masters. If you're ambushed at school, it'll be difficult to protect
学校
you.
そんなことはない。
Not necessarily.
いい
Listen here,
じゃあ
Archer. I don't intend to alter my lifestyle just because of this. Besides, masters fight out of public view, don't they? I don't think anyone would try to sneak up on me in front of everyone at school.
それなら
そうか。リンがそう決め
If that's your choice, then I'll follow along. But at least let me stand guard in spirit form. Surely you don't intend to go there without me.
当たり前じゃない
Of course not.
学校に
You'll stay with me whenever I'm outside, not just at school. That's a servant's job, so I'm counting on you.
サーバントの役割な
それを聞いて安心した。
I'm glad to hear it. A knight has a duty to repay his lord's trust. You won't be
せいぜい
disappointed.
期待にそうだがリン。もしも
Still,
の話だ
hypothetically speaking, what would you do if the enemy was in a place you thought safe?
どうする？
何
Are we supposing that there's a master at the school?
そうだ。
Yes. While it's hard for anyone who isn't a student or teacher to enter, it could spell trouble if a master has already infiltrated.
それはないんじゃないかな
I don't think that's
この
likely.
町には
The Tosaka are the only functioning mage family left in this town. The other one's gone belly up, so they won't produce any masters.
落ちぶれてるしマスターにもなってない
マスターになっていないと。
How do you know?
あのねうち以外に
Hey, if there's any other mage families in Fuiki besides the Tosaka, you can bet I've looked into them already.
そいつマスターにはなってなかったし
He isn't a master. As the heir to that family, he can't wield the strength to become one. We can safely ignore them.
無視して構わないわ
そうか。
I see. So there is another mage at your school, but they lack the magical energy to be a master.
そういう
That's right. Most of the other masters will be coming from the outside. They wouldn't be at my school.
そんな連
まあ今の
For now,
だ
perhaps.
がリン。何事にも例
But
外
there
は
are
存在する
exceptions to every rule, Dean. What will you do if you encounter an unknown mage at school?
だからいないってば
I'm telling you, it won't happen. Mages are sensitive to each other. I've spent a whole year at that campus, so I'd be able to sense any mage no matter how hard they try to hide.
断言するけど
I'm certain there are only 2 mages at school. Me and that Proby without enough power to be a
もう一人は
master.
分かった
Get it now, you're just being paranoid. The scenario you're imagining won't happen.
だからもしもの話
That's
だ
why I said hypothetical. But the unexpected has a way of happening.
本来ありえざる
Sometimes destiny decides to make the impossible come about.
もしそういっ
If
た
we find ourselves in such a situation, I hope you'll remember not to take it out on me.
八つ当たりをするのだけは
Archer chuckles
思い
dryly.
とどまってほしいと言っ
His
て
smug
いる
attitude already makes me want to do exactly that, but I'll be late for school if I keep letting him push my buttons.
そんなことあるわけない
It
じゃ
won't
ない
happen. It's a what if because it would never happen in the first place. And if it does, it would just mean that I was too naive or whatever.
よし確か
I'll
に
remember you said that. Let's get going then.
君の学び屋まで30
Takes 30 minutes to get to your school, so you better leave soon if you want to be on time.
驚いた
I am legitimately shocked.
本当に
It
ある
really
ね
did happen.
ああ私も驚いている
I'm surprised as well.
何事もケチをつけ
It
て
really
おく
does
もの
pay
だ
to be a pessimist.
思わぬところで役に立った
This is our exchange the moment we pass through the front gate. It's almost time for homeroom, so there are students on their way to class all around us. Archer and I stand still like a pillar amid the swirling human sea.
空気がよどんでるど
The
こ
air
ろの
isn't
話
just
じゃない
stagnant. Someone set up a bounded field, don't you think?
完全にではないが
It isn't finished, but yes,
すで
prep
に
work is
準備
already
は始まっ
underway.
ているようだなここまで派手に
They
やっ
must
てい
think
るとい
they're
う
a
こと
big
は
shot to go about it this
よほど
openly.
の大物か
とんでもない素人
More
ね
an unbelievable amateur. Only a third-rate mage would make such a conspicuous field. Someone with actual skills would conceal it until it was time to strike.
で君はどちらだと
And
思う
how would you rate this mage?
さあ
Who knows?
一流だ
I
ろうが
couldn't care
三流
less.
だろうが私のテリトリー
More
で
importantly, trying such shoddy work in my territory is just gonna earn them a beating. I let out an indignant huff as I crossed through the grounds. As a mage, there's no sugarcoating it. I won't be satisfied until whoever made this bounded field gets what's coming to them. Go. I'm on my way back from the music room after second period. I spot a first year floundering in the hallway. She looks like she could use a hand with the large stack of documents she's carrying.
手伝うわさくら
Let me help, Sakura. Huh?
どうさか
Tosaka.
何プリント
Printouts?
世界史って言ったら
Our class is
うちの
supposed
担
to
任
take
じ
care
ゃ
of
ない
world history. What is that Kuzuki thinking making you carry all of these? Here, I'll take half. Thank you.
いい
It's fine. Are you taking me to your classroom?
No. To Mr. Kuzuki. He said he needs to take them back because there's a typo.
I can believe that. Kuzuki's got a huge stick up his ass. He wants to spend an entire exam over a single typo.
You mean an exam here at this school?
Yeah, it was during midterms last year. It was near the end when everyone's answer sheets were already filled. He just came out and said, "There's a typo! The questions are incorrect! The exam is suspended! We'll redo it tomorrow!" The teachers were as surprised as we are, and people still talk about it.
That does sound like Mr. Kuzuki. He's the type of person who believes teachers shouldn't make any mistakes.
But he goes overboard. You better learn while you can that once Kuzuki's got his mind set on something, he's as hard to move as a mountain.
You must like him. It's unusual to hear you talk about someone like that.
Is it? I do wish he just relaxed. Though he's alright just the way he is, ultimately. The faculty at our school is made up of both really nice teachers and some really scary ones. It's a delicate balance that Mr. Kuzuki is an important part of. He's the stick to the carrot. You'll see more of him next year, since he teaches ethics. Oh, right, Sakura, there's something I wanted to ask you.
What is it?
It's about yesterday. Were you talking to a foreigner?
You saw that?
I just happened to. What's going on? Is he someone you know?
No, I don't really know who he was. It sounded like he was lost. He asked a lot of questions, but I couldn't really understand what he was saying.
Ah, and that's when she slipped away. I see, sorry, I was just curious.
No, I don't mind. Just in here. I can get the rest now.
Okay, see you later then. I return the printout to Sakura. But before I head back to my classroom, I find myself stopping. How are you lately, Sakura?
I'm okay. I'm doing well.
I see. Let me know if Shinji's up to something. He doesn't know when to quit, so it'll just get worse if you keep quiet.
You don't have to worry. He's been nice lately.
There isn't much I can say to a smile like that. We say our farewells again, and I leave my underclassman acquaintance. The school day is over. The classroom is steadily empty, and the campus darkens by the hour. The crimson sun will set soon. Once night falls, there won't be anyone left around. Let's begin, Archer. First, we'll investigate the bounded field. Once we determine what type it is, we'll decide whether to erase it or leave it. I speak to my invisible partner. I feel him nod in acknowledgement. Bounded fields are meant to protect their casters. You can consider them a terrain-based magecraft formed by weaving magical energy into a net and applying it to the earth to affect the inside of the field. There are countless types of effects they can have, ranging from wards that isolate an area from the outside world to avoid detection, to fields that limit the type of magecraft that can be activated within. The most offensive type suppresses biological functions inside the area of effect. And that's what's been applied to the school grounds. While it isn't finished, everyone in the school will collapse once it's activated. Something like that wouldn't work on me, though. Bounded fields are, after all, targeted at the area I'm in, not me specifically. Such indirect magical interference won't affect a mage with magical energy flowing through their body. Similarly, the electrical charges that flow in the atmosphere won't disturb the electrical currents within my body. That means the bounded field has some other purpose. Whoever it is put this thing here is trying to defeat a master with it. I don't want to believe it, but they're targeting all the people within the school! There's only one possible reason for that. It's a thought I can't stomach! After checking all around, The school gates shut at 6 p.m. and it's now 8 p.m. Archer and I are the only ones left, and Archer's in his spirit form.
これで7つ目か。
That makes the seventh one.
とりあえずここが
Looks like this is the origin point. There are 8 symbols boldly drawn on the rooftop. They're purplish red marks that only a mage can see. I've never seen or heard of sigils like these.
参ったな。
Well, they've got me there.
私の
I don't know what to do about this. Um. Whoever set up this bounded field did it recklessly. But while imprudent, the magical working itself is an order of magnitude beyond my own skills. I could temporarily erase the energy of the curse, but I have no way to dispel the bounded field itself. All the spellcaster needs to do is supply it with more energy to reactivate the curse's effects. Archer doesn't comment. He's probably remained silent since encountering the rooftop sigils because he too has realized their nature. This bounded field does more than drain its victim's stamina. It will literally melt everyone inside once it's turned on. There are bounded fields which rob victims of their life force and spiritual energy, but the spell that's been applied to the school grounds is on a whole different level. This is no less than a soul eater. A blood force! A blood force which melts the human bodies inside it and forcibly collects the souls that ooze out! Since in Tsukuri, souls have always been difficult to handle. They're theorized to exist and are considered to be necessary components of magecraft, but only one mage has ever proven their existence. Our definition of souls stop at that which examines within and that which is transferred between vessels. To not only extract souls, but then capture them in one place, it defies comprehension. What's a mage supposed to do with a bunch of energy we can't even convert? So if I had to think of a purpose for it... Archer,
あなたたちって
is that what you and your kind are? It comes out colder than I intended.
説の通りだ。
You surmised correctly.
我々は
I did say that we are fundamentally spiritual beings.
故に
That means we feed on the second and third factors, the soul and the mind.
君たちが肉を
Just as you sustain yourselves with the flesh of creatures, we servants derive nutrition from the mind and soul. While said nutrition doesn't change our base abilities, acquiring more of it does make us more durable. It increases our reserve of magical energy, in other words. He's right. The way to make your own servant stronger is to indiscriminately attack human beings.
マスターから提供されるまで
So your
だけ
own
じゃ足り
master's
ないって
magical energy isn't enough?
足りなくはないが
It's sufficient, but it never hurts to have more. In more, some weaknesses can be compensated with material when one is lacking in fighting strength.
周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うの
It's a
は
basic strategy for a master to take energy from the humans around them. In that sense, this bounded field is an
この
efficient
決定は
tactic.
効率がいい
Archer's saying that I should murder people and take their power if I want to win. It's so simple! I've always known this to be true, and I know it's the path I'm supposed to walk.
それ勘に触るわ
That really teased me off.
二度と口にし
Don't
ない
ever bring
で
it up again, Archer. Staring at the sigils, I make my stance clear. Oddly, Archer sounds just as put off.
同感だ
I agree. I'd never do
私
such a
も
thing.
するつもりはない
His answer comes firm and resolute.
さて
Time to erase this then.
それじゃ
It won't do much good,
無
but
駄だ
I
ろう
can
け
at
ど
least slow it
とりあえ
down.
ず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる
I approach the sigil and extend my left hand. The magic crest engraved on my arm is like a grimoire passed down through the Tosaka line. A mental switch is flicked. I pass magical energy through the magic crest, load a verse of bounded field erasure, and take a deep breath and activate it.
I then send a pulse of magical energy beyond my left hand. That should wash away the sigil for now. What? You're gonna erase it? What a waste. Suddenly, a third voice chimes in while I'm casting the spell. I roll around. A man is perched on top of the water tower, some 10 meters above, looking down at me. He is clad in a deep blue that blends into the night. His mouth is drawn into a grin, and he has a bestial air about him. The beast's gaze is sharp and clear. In this bizarre situation, the man in blue watches me as if he's greeting a friend he hasn't seen in a decade.
これあなたの仕業?
Did you do this?
Nah, it's a mage's job to play little tricks. We just fight whomever we're ordered to. Isn't that right, mate?
His tone is lethal yet carefree. This man can see Archer.
やっぱりサーバント.
Your servant. Yeah? And if you know that last, you must be my enemy. My spine tenses. The man's voice is detached and nonchalant, but it's colder than anyone I've ever heard. So scary, it's nauseating. What's the best move here? I don't know. But my brain is still working enough to tell me that I absolutely must not fight him. Oh, I'm impressed. Here I was thinking you don't know heads from tails, but you figured out what really counts. I blew that. I shouldn't have gone out of my way to taunt you. The man raises an arm. It appears in a flash. His once empty hand now holds a scarlet 2-meter-long weapon. My legs throw me to the side before I can think. There isn't time to even hesitate about jumping off the roof. With all my might, I make a mad dash for the fence, intending to barrel right through it. A cyclone lifts my hair into the air. It was by the skin of my teeth. In that instant, something slices through the space I was just in, tearing the fence apart with it. You got a nice pair of legs on you! A blue whirlwind pursues me. There's no way out. The fence is behind me. My flanks are cut off. I won't make it. I react swiftly. My magic crest surges to life so I can weave a single count magecraft. The spell lightens mass and manipulates gravity. Light as a feather, my body bounds into the air. I know, I got this. And I jump over the fence to plummet off the roof. Air resistance and gravity push and pull along my body. It's about 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds away. Too slow. He's going to catch up to me. Archer, handle the landing! I let Archer absorb the shock of the landing and break into a dash as soon as we touch down. I couldn't stay on that rooftop. We needed a less cramped arena from which to maneuver freely. A battlefield without obstacles where Archer and I can truly shine. It takes me less than 7 seconds to escape from the roof to the schoolyard. A distance of over 100 meters crossed at a pace no normal person can manage, much less clearly see. And yet... You really do have good legs. I almost feel bad about having to kill your hair. Against the servant, it's wasted effort. It's a cloudy night. Archer's hand grips a short sword that faintly reflects the moonlight. Oh. The man's lips twist into an ominous sneer. Yeah, that's how this ought to be. Can't say I hate guys like you who are quick on the uptake. The whirlwind howls. It's the weapon he swung at me on the rooftop. A spear of blood like crimson that came mercilessly for my head. A lancer. That's me! That must make your servant a saber! Nah, he doesn't feel like one. Who the hell are you? Gone is his carefree ease from a moment ago. Archer stays silent, facing off against Lancer's unconcealed bloodlust. There's just under 5 meters between them. Lancer's weapon is nearly 2 meters long. It doesn't feel like this beast of a man is going to be deterred by a mere 3-meter difference. I can tell you're not the type to settle things man to man. That must make you Archer. Archer doesn't take the bait. An unusual clash of blue and red stare at each other down. The two knights, somewhat similarly dressed, mutually calculate the other's demise. Alright, all that's left is to throw down. Draw your bow, Archer. Not how I usually do this, but I'm polite enough to wait that long. Archer doesn't answer. His back, as steely as a sword, seems to convey that he must not have anything to say to someone he must defeat. That's when I realize it. I'm such a fool. Archer was waiting for my word. Archer. I call out to him without getting any closer. Don't hold back. Show me everything you've got. Was that a laugh? The Red Knight surges forward, his lips curled in response. Wind swirls!
A scarlet bullet flies forth, blade in hand.
Fall!
A blue spear thrust intercepts him. If the charging archer is a gust of wind, then the spear tip that rises to meet him is a divine storm. Shrieking blades! Elegant parries! Archer is put on the
Defensive, fending off the swift thrusts with his short sword. The man in red is stopped in his tracks, his advance denied by the enemy. He can't even breach the 2-meter coverage of the spear. A polearm wielder can control his opponent's range. Lancer, with his nearly 2-meter reach, needs to simply engage his foe whenever he comes within range. It's easier for him to stab an advancing opponent than it is for him to go after Archer himself. Despite this, Lancer closes in the distance between himself to press the attack, all the while keeping Archer from advancing further. You're a damn fool of a bowman trying to challenge me in close combat. What are you, stupid? Lancer's snarl is fiery. With each thrust, Lancer closes in the assault, never letting up for a second. Moving in too close to suicide for a spear wielder. The advantage of a spear is the ability to control the enemy's position. Lancer shouldn't have a chance if he keeps closing in.
No way!
But that's only according to conventional wisdom! Unerringly, unceasingly, Lancer's spear seeks to pierce Archer's throat, shoulder, forehead, heart. The strikes are too swift to even leave an afterimage. Archer is forced to parry, block, or evade every move of the spear. Any strike, if true, would be a mortal blow. Still, Archer is a servant even if he specializes with the bow. He won't be brought down so easily by mundane attacks. The thrust on his forehead is quickly battered aside, and Archer renews his charge in spite of Lancer's spear.
One might think that swordplay is all there is to Archer's attack, but he's exploiting a weakness of spear tactics. Against the spear's considerable reach, neither retreat nor evasion are viable defenses for long. A half-hearted withdrawal isn't enough to get out of range, while probing attacks will lead to evisceration. A reckless charge will similarly end in impalement at the edge of the spear's range. Archer and Lancer have more or less the same physical stature. Without heavy armor, it's difficult for Archer to penetrate the lethal storm of Lancer. His attack radius. The Lancer's strikes are a different story. The high-speed thrusts, intended to pierce vital points, are indeed terrifying. But each strike has a set trajectory and target. If one can predict these, then there are ways to avoid harm. Just as Archer is doing, one can block the strikes aimed at vital points or just barely evade their arcs to create safe openings.
Lancer probably underestimated him as a range specialist. The advantage of a long weapon is the generous range at which one can engage the opponent. By giving that up, Lancer has assured his... Go! The man in red stops in his tracks.
I watch a nightmare unfold as if time has reminded. Lancer's attacks become even faster than before. Archer's short sword is knocked aside as he twists to avoid being skewered. Lancer's spear doesn't allow retreat, or rather, his endless attacks are so fierce and sharp that even servants are doomed against them. We were the ones who underestimated our enemy. That servant, that lancer, and his spear can't be described in mundane martial terms. Who could possibly survive such a relentless barrage? Archer beats a desperate retreat while parrying strikes, creating slightly more distance between the fighters. In that moment, Lancer steps into the gap and unleashes an even more ferocious attack. Yeah!
The sum of attacks is a little different from what he's already been doing, but their execution is truly godlike. They've already clashed 10 times. No, it's actually several times more than 10. The torrent of spear strikes increases again in intensity and number, threatening to take Archer's life 1,000 times over. It isn't even a change in speed, but in precision. At a steady pace, Lancer's spear comes down on Archer like a waterfall. How can Archer get inside his guard? With such a short weapon, all he can do is defend against the spear. He has no way to close in on Lancer. In fact, he's being forced backwards. The steel vacuum stretches out.
I should probably be backing Archer up, but the range kind of diametral. My magecraft isn't easy to aim precisely. I risk hitting Archer too if he can't get far away enough from Lancer. Meanwhile, Lancer's advantage would only deepen. And to be honest, I'm captivated by their duel. So this is a battle between servants. The Holy Grail War is a battle between familiars of the highest order, heroic spirits, beings that we mages can't begin to approach. Servants, familiars divided among...
Familiars divided among 7 classes and roles serving 7 masters. Supreme familiars called forth by the Holy Grail itself. Familiar is really a misnomer for them. Familiars are supposed to be subservient minions who act on behalf of a mage. Normally, you'd imagine something like Puss in Boots, an elegant white bird, or a disobedient black dog, something like that. Those sorts of familiars are what a typical mage can manage to command. Familiars are just that, from the Latin for a menial servant. It's inconceivable that a mascot used for menial labor will be stronger than its master. Servants are a different story. They're quite literally even the 5 minutes. It's difficult to summon a servant, but not because servants are more powerful than mages. Servants are beings that surpass magic. To be clear, servants are heroes of the past, myths, legends, fables, histories. We call the glorious superheroes from traditionary heroes, whether their tales are true or not. Immortalized by what humanity says about them, they cease to be merely human after death, in a sense of something greater. People who work miracles, who save the multitude to accomplish great feats, are related to the status of heroes, either life or after death. They become a type of elemental we call heroic spirits, guardians of the human race. It doesn't matter whether they were historical people or characters from mythology. Heroes are created by thoughts of the people. We imagine them as the idols we wish they were and treat them as if they were real. Objective truth is irrelevant. Fame and faith are sufficient to give forth to these legends. They're humanity's ultimate ideals, the greatest among us. That's what it means to be a hero and a heroic spirit. Naturally, it's impossible for a mere human to control something greater than a human. What mages usually do is borrow a portion of their power and imitate their feats. Oh fuck, what the hell? Summoning a complete heroic spirit is completely impossible, yet the Holy Grail makes it possible. It allows us to summon these spirits in the flesh and even bind them to our command. The sheer absurdity proves the Grail's omnipotence. That's how heroic spirits are summoned from across time, whether of the age of gods or as recent as a century ago. The 7 heroic spirits serve and protect their 7 masters. Each master sends their servants out to defeat their enemy masters. It's a deathmatch between heroes of every age and every land. That's the story behind the ritual we call the Holy Grail War. Of course, there are limits as to what the Grail can do. Even the Holy Grail can't indiscriminately summon mythic beings akin to elementals. Just as the form created by the people is required to materialize the sixth theoretical factor known as demons! Heroic spirits need a material to operate in this world. This is their temporary label and the way they're allowed to exist in this world. The Holy Grail provides vessels that heroic spirits could materialize in called classes. And only heroic spirits that fit these classes can be summoned. A class is like a passport that lets a heroic spirit visit the modern era to act as a familiar. It's a material vessel that they temporarily possess. There are 7 masters and 7 heroic spirits to serve them. Each is assigned one of the 7 classes. Saber, the Knight of the Sword. Lancer, the Knight of the Spear. Archer, the Knight of the Bow. Rider, the Cavalier. Caster, the Mage. Assassin, the Silent Killer. Berserker, the Mad Warrior. Only heroic spirits with attributes corresponding to the 7 classes can be summoned to the modern world, and they become servants whom the masters command. That's the servant system. Humans summon and make contracts with heroic spirits beyond our ability to handle, all in hopes of winning a miracle beyond our ken. It's the greatest of battles that can only happen here in this land, like no other Holy Grail war! The duel reaches an even higher pitch. The short sword goes flying from Archer's hand after blocking one of Lancer's strikes. Lancer's skill is consummate. A seemingly straight thrust suddenly whipped into a disarming arc at Archer's wrist. It was an attack that Archer couldn't have avoided, even if he saw it coming. There isn't an effective way to parry the spear with his sword. A forceful block is countered with an even keener strike while defending. With minimal force will never create an opening to exploit. The clash between sword and spear is shaping up into an intense struggle to defeat an enemy outside of Archer's reach. You fool! There's no hesitation in Lancer, even as he taunts Archer. He pauses from the constant pressure he puts on Archer. Does he intend to settle this duel in an instant? Lancer takes a firmly rooted stance, trading a fiery glare with the now unarmed Archer. It happens in an instant. In the span of a breath, Lancer looses a flurry of blows that's no less than a flash of light. Imperceptible. Forehead, neck, and heart. The spear moves to skewer all 3! And yeah! Another flash of light counters the first that I couldn't even follow. Archer's hand grasps the short sword once more. Like the weapon he used earlier, it's a Chinese sword. Which isn't a bad thing, I just didn't think it'd be Chinese, not dissimilar to a cleaver. But the greatest difference between them is... a dual wielder, huh? Blade and blade. In each hand he grips a sword, each clearly meant to complement the other. Pretty swordsmen, are we? Lancer's spear sings through the air. It becomes even faster, as if to herald Archer's certain death. The duel becomes a symphony of clashing blades. 2 steel instruments playing a resounding chorus. The sparks of their conflict rising to a never-ending crescendo. Their battle is like a vacuum. It sucks in all the air around it, making me feel like I'll be cut if I even dare to approach. It all happened in an instant, really. But as I watched with bated breath, the moment seemed to stretch on. Lancer keeps his foe out of his fatal pocket, while Archer attempts to close the gap with his shield of dual swords. They've clashed over 100 times already, Archer losing a weapon each time. But instantly another sword appears in Archer's empty hand, and Lancer is slightly driven back each time. Lancer finally acknowledges his miscalculation. He has no idea who he's fighting. But it would be a mistake to keep dismissing his opponent as a foeman. A space opens up between them. Lancer puts his significant distance between them. Maybe he intends to start over. That agility isn't normal. Archer's charge defies human ability, but he's sluggish next to Lancer. The swiftness of Lancer's retreat had the speed and grace of a leopard.
27
27. 28 stab! I disarmed you 27 times, and you still have more.
Lancer sounds irritated. Actually, he sounds more confused than upset. I feel the same way. According to my father, servants typically only have one weapon. They're supposed to be singular relics of unimaginable power, not expendable items to be drawn over and over like Archer's doing. Servants are heroes whose spiritual rank are elevated to the magnitude of elementals or divine spirits after death. In a way, they're not unlike angels and demons. They're powerful familiars on their own, but their greatest strength is the mighty weapons that prove they're heroes. We call these magical items noble phantasms. They are the favored weapon or armor that a servant used while it was a living hero, and it's literally the servant's secret weapon. To a servant, a noble phantasm is a one-of-a-kind armament. It's the servant's indispensable ultimate weapon as well. The same goes for Lancer's spear. It can exhibit its power as a noble phantasm if he so chooses. A noble phantasm, I'm gonna kill myself. But its true power is expressed by invoking its true name. Heroes' weapons are known to have slain dragons and gods, to have conquered the earth. Servants activate noble phantasms with their own magical energy. It's not unlike magecraft, actually. Servants use their noble phantasms as catalysts to recreate the destruction from their legends. A noble phantasm is most certainly not a disposable tool. Archer has produced dozens of swords by now. Each seems like a masterwork unto itself, but surely they can't be his noble phantasm. He's an archer after all. His secret weapon must be some kind of bomb.
Hi.
What's the matter, Lancer? It's not like you to be so cautious. Where did all that fire go? Sneaky bitch. Think you can bait me like that? The cause of Lancer's irritation is obvious. Lancer has been fighting as a spearman, while Archer has been fending him off as a swordsman. Meaning that Archer hasn't revealed his cards yet. That must be frustrating to deal with. Fine, let me ask you this then. Which land are you a hero from? I've never heard of a bowman who's actually also a dual-wielding swordsman. It's easy to tell who you are, though. They say that only the swiftest heroes are chosen as lancers, but you're outstanding even among them. What does that mean? There can't be 3 spear wielders as fine as you in the world, and only one has such bestial agility. Oh, well said, Archer. For a moment, the bloodlust is so strong I forgot to breathe. Lancer's arms move. It's a deliberate stance without any of the nonchalance he has shown thus far. His spear tip dips as if to puncture the ground, but Lancer's eyes bore straight through Archer. Then, will you taste my killer technique? I won't stop you. You're a foe we have to overcome sooner or later. Lancer lowers his stance. Simultaneously, authority bitch cold overtakes the schoolyard.
The air freezes. I don't mean that metaphorically. It's literally ice cold. All the mana in the atmosphere freezes solid. Only the warrior Lancer's allowed to breathe in this space. The spear in Lancer's hand is undoubtedly magical. Its true form eager to burst forth. It's its true form eager to burst forth? Oh no. He's going to die. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer's finished. It's the first time I've had this kind of premonition, and as hard as it is to believe, I don't doubt it for a second. If Lancer unleashes his spear, Archer will die. That's absolutely certain. As Lancer says his spear means death! Archer alone! Lancer will stab him through the heart, he'll die! Despite these premonitions, despite this insight, I can't even help Archer! I feel like if I so much as lift a finger, it'll signal the beginning of the end. If there's a way to prevent Archer's defeat, then it can only be...
誰だ
Who goes there?
The sudden appearance of a third party whom we all overlooked. Oh. Lance's ferocity disappears. I hear the sound of someone running away. From behind, I can clearly make out a school uniform.
Student?
Someone was still on campus?
そのようだな。
Apparently. And saved our lives. Archer answers coolly. Sure enough, the interruption did save our skin. I screwed up. I was so distracted by Lancer that I wasn't keeping an eye on our surroundings. Wait, what are you doing, Archer?
見てわからないか。
Can't you tell? I'm resting because there's no one left to fight. That's not what I mean! What about Lancer?
さっきの人影を追って
He went off to chase the witness, probably get rid of
目撃者だ
him.
からな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
For a moment, my thoughts grind to a halt. After them, Archer, I'll catch up! Archer pursues Lancer immediately. Damn it, such a dummy! I curse my own negligence. It's standard mage policy to eliminate witnesses. Until now, I've been careful not to allow anyone to see me as a mage to avoid that scenario. Why did it have to happen today of all days? The night feels oppressive, not letting even the moonlight through. I find Archer standing over the body of a student collapsed on the floor of a terribly cold hallway. He looks wordlessly down at the student. An odor reaches my nose. The sight of slowly pooling blood makes me realize that it's the smell of death. Follow him, Archer. Lancer should be running back to his master. If we can at least catch sight of their face, then tonight isn't a total loss. Archer goes off after Lancer. Only the fallen student and I remain in the corridor. I can't look him in the eye, but I have to. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Since I was young, since I made up my mind to inherit the Tosaka legacy, I've been prepared for this. Mages aren't governed by good or evil. I've known all along that this path would be a bloody one. A single thrust from Lancer's spear. If he got you in the heart, there's no saving you. I don't know how many seconds ago Lancer killed him. It's just a matter of whether he was unlucky enough to get stabbed through the heart. The blood loss isn't as bad as I would expect, except for destroyed hearts. Expect for a destroyed heart, so maybe the injury isn't too deep. It might not be too bad, but he's still screwed if blood has been cut off to his brain. So, yeah, if his heart was wrecked, then he would have died instantly. Still not dead. You're really something. It's hard to hear, but just barely. My ears pick up faint breathing that might be a death rattle. But it won't last more than a few seconds. I don't have the power to save him. I don't even have a way to heal my own wounds. I have to look him in the eye at least. I start to reach for the face of the prone figure when I realize that my fingers won't move. They're shaking. But why? I'm used to this. I've made this choice countless times. I've lost so much thanks to my own mistakes, my own selfishness. That's why I've always been ready for this day to come. Then why am I so angry at myself? I'm sorry. I'll keep you company. You deserve that much. I use cold logic to still my trembling fingers and legs and check the fallen student's face. A great weight falls onto me. I feel like I've just been struck by a hammer. Don't do this to me. Why did it have to be you? I grind my teeth, no longer to brace myself against the shaking, but because I'm truly angry. Why did it have to be him? Why him especially? I'm not upset with Lancer for silencing a witness, as a servant should. But at school, today of all days, at this hour, you fool, why would you, of all people? Sakura's face comes to mind. I'm sure she'll cry. And I find myself recalling a day after school some years ago. The sky glowed a distant red. A boy that always ran. And a silly little girl watched him absently from afar. That boy got involved in something he shouldn't have, and now his corpse is in front of me. There's still a way. If I fail, I might lose my trump card, but there's a way to save him. No, I'll lose it whether this works or not, so the outcome is the same to me. This is a mistake. His impending death is a foregone conclusion. It's my fault for not paying enough attention to what was happening around me, and his fault for having the dumb luck to be here tonight. There's no need for me to go this far for him. My father, who left me with nothing to remember him by, did in fact leave me this heirloom to help me. It's a massive store of magical energy meant to be a trump card that helps me win this war. A precious, precious treasure just for... So what, stupid? I turn back and kneel by the dying boy. Well, that's that. The pendant in my hand gets lighter. My father's keepsake is nearly empty. With a clink, I drop it onto the guy who was a second away from becoming a corpse. Nothing else I could have done. There really was no other way. I don't have the power or skill to bring someone back to life, especially not someone with a destroyed heart, damaged blood vessels, and brain death mere seconds away. All I can do is patch up his missing parts with brute force. You're lucky to still be breathing. If you were totally dead, then there would have been no bringing you back with any amount of magical energy. But if he's still alive, then I just need to help him the best I can. I would have really hated myself if I failed, but it worked out, I guess. Yeah, I feel fulfilled if I'm being honest. This wasn't such a bad experience. But really, I'm lying to myself. I should go. I did what I came to do. Better get out of here before he wakes up. Yeah, there isn't any point hanging around. Archer's off tailing Lancers, so I should just go home! On the way home, I remember! I left my father's memento at the school, though now it's just a pendant with all of its magical energy wrung dry. Oh well! I don't suppose I need it anymore. It might have the little energy left in it, but it's less than the 10 gemstones I'm carrying. What father wanted was for me to have enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. Now that I've used that resource up, its container doesn't mean much. Definitely! I arrive home without announcing my return and plop down on the sofa. Archer still isn't back yet. I heave a tired sigh and listen to the clock tick for a few minutes. I need to get my head in the game. After a battle like that, what am I even spacing out for? I jump to my feet and make some black tea. I have plenty to think about. The servant we encountered most of all. I finally watched a battle between servants, which until today I'd only known about through books. Lancer, huh? I panicked when he seemed about to use his noble phantasm, but at least it would have let us learn who he is. Learning a servant's identity is key to defeating a servant. With the exception of the idiot who doesn't know his own name, a servant's greatest weakness is their identity. Once you learn a servant's name and identity, then you can mostly deduce that heroic spirit's noble phantasm. It goes without saying that since servants are heroic spirits, they have legends associated with them. Unraveling their history can reveal a lot about their abilities. Masters address servants by their class name to hide their true names. The more famous a hero, the more likely their weapons and weaknesses are to be known. A heroic spirit who has become a servant will never willingly divulge their identity. That knowledge is reserved only for their master. There's a tacit understanding that a master conceals their own servant's identity while trying to figure out the identities of the other servants, including this one. There have been 5 Holy Grail Wars thus far. Each servant's quality depends on the caliber of the summoned heroic spirit. Naturally, a famous hero or one with a legendary weapon is powerful. Accordingly, it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. For that, a summoner needs a connection to the heroic spirit they're summoning, such as the weapon the hero wielded during their lifetime. Even the mage's association with all its resources only has such few items in its possession. That's why most mages, myself included, summon a heroic spirit whom we have an affinity with. A servant's strength is determined by the caliber of the heroic spirit, or so the logic goes. But the reality isn't so clear-cut. Even a superior heroic spirit might struggle when the classes in play aren't favorable. Class-specific abilities can have a large impact on the outcome of a battle. Each of the 7 classes come with additional abilities, and the interaction between these can allow one to triumph over a stronger opponent. To continue the example, it's said that great heroes were defeated by lesser-known heroes in each of the previous 4 wars. As far as I know, the best servant class is Saber. Saber fought until the very end in each of the last 4 wars. Saber, Lancer, and Archer are said to have powerful magical resistance. Magecraft isn't effective against these 3 classes. After all, they're warriors from ages of myth and legend when magic was still prevalent. Spells cast by modern mages would probably fizzle out on contact. That's why the first 3 classes are generally considered the most desirable. The other class to watch out for is Berserker. Heroic spirits summoned in this class lose their sanity. As the name suggests, they become crazed warriors and puppets of their masters, but are straightened beyond the powers they had in life. It's also worth noting that the stronger a servant is, the greater its burden on its master. In the past, masters who drew Berserkers couldn't control their servants, and ultimately self-destructed due to running out of magical energy. No exceptions. In the vast majority of cases, Holy Grail wars are won by the summoned servant's abilities. Of course, there are plenty of ways for masters to win battles, but it basically comes down to fighting between the servants. That's why a master needs to commit the utmost diligence and effort to summoning a servant. Anyways, discontented, I decided to come up with projections for the battles to come. Before long, it's 11 p.m. Yes, I fixed the clocks already. Archer comes home.
おかえりなさい。
Welcome back! How'd it go?
すまない。失敗した。
Sorry, I failed. His master must be a cautious one. I was at least able to tell that Lancer's master isn't on this side of the city.
ランサーのマスターはいなかった。
Figures. Lancer was all alone and his master didn't seem like the type to show themselves.
そう。
I see.
まあ、簡単にはいかない
We
わ
knew
ね
it wouldn't be that easy. Everything can't go according to plan. So there's no use worrying over it. I'll just give up and treat tonight as a learning experience.
覇気がないな、マスター。
You seem dispirited, Master. What happened to all that combativeness? Don't tell me you're a coward after a single skirmish. If you order it, I can go back out right now and re-engage Lancer.
今すぐにでも、ランサー
Archer doesn't say it, but I can tell he thinks that's the right course of action. Oh, I must look pretty depressed right now, huh?
そんなわけないで
That's
しょ
not it at all. I'm not going back out there because I don't want to waste the effort.
単に無駄
無駄でもしたくない。
Waste what effort?
だって
The masters aren't all accounted for yet. Tonight's fight was unavoidable, but we're not supposed to fight until the signal to start the war. Father told me that's a rule of the Holy Grail War.
それ
そうか。
I see.
君の父親もマスター
So your father was a master too. Archer nods in understanding. Actually, he's making a rather mixed expression.
何よ
What, you got something to say to
何
me?
か言いたいことでもあるの
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。
Yeah, I forgot to ask you something.
君は
Rin, you've been raised from a young age to be a master and followed that lifestyle accordingly, yes? That means you always expected to become a master.
つまり、
当たり前じゃない
Of course I did.
それはいきな
Some
りマ
mages
スタ
are
ーに
appointed
任
as
命され
masters,
る
but
魔
it
術師
doesn't
もい
work
る
like
そう
that
だ
for
け
me.
ど
I'm
私
a
は別
Tosaka, winning the Holy Grail War has been our goal for generations.
聖杯戦争は何代も前からの悲願なんだから。
そうだろ
That makes sense.
う。なら、
So you already had an objective in mind.
私はそれを聞き
That's
忘
what I
れ
wanted to ask you about. I need to know my master's wish before I offer my sword in
私の
service.
剣を預けられない。リン、
So,
それで
Lin,
君の願いは何だ
what is your wish?
願い
My wish?
そんなの別にないけど
I don't really have one.
何
What? Archer's making a funny face.
そん
That
な
can't
は
be
ず
true.
は
The
ない
Holy Grail can grant any wish.
世界とは
Mages only become masters to obtain the Holy Grail. So what do you mean you have no wish?
聖杯を手に入れるということだというのに
Archer drops
叶
all
える願いが
pretense.
ないとはどういうことだ
Right. Once the Holy Grail is won, the victorious master's wish has nothing to do with the servant. But that's weird. Father mentioned that servants have their own wishes too, but that's their own business. It shouldn't matter to Archer whether or not I have a wish.
よし明確な望みがないのであれば
Fine, since you don't have a specific wish, what about a general one? Like conquering the world, for example.
なんで
Why?
世界なんてとっ
The
くに
world
私
already
のもの
belongs
じゃ
to
ない
me.
あのねあー
You
ちゃ
know,
ん
Archer, the world is just a set of values that revolve around yourself. I've had that ever since I was born. I don't need to take over something that's always
そ
been
んな世界を
inherently
支配
mine.
しろって言うんなら私はとっくに世界を支配している
Archer looks at me with a strange expression. Man, he's stubborn.
バカな
I I don't believe you. The Holy Grail has the power to grant wishes. You could obtain anything you want in the material world. How can you not desire anything at all?
だって世界征服も面
World
倒くさいし
domination sounds like a pain, and I wouldn't know what to do with
そんな無駄なことになって
it.
も仕方がない
Not
でしょ
everyone looks at things the way you do, you know. I'm having trouble understanding. What do you fight for?
そこに戦いがあ
If
る
there's a
からよ
fight to be had, I just want in, Archer. I'll take whatever I find along the way. I don't really know how the Holy Grail works, but if I find out there's something I want, I can just use it on that. Not all people live to acquire things, you know?
つまり君は
Meaning,
ええ
that's right.
ただ勝つ
I'm just fighting to win.
あちゃ
Archer sighs and shrugs. Maybe he's fed up with me, but he finally relaxes.
参った
I give up.
確か
You
に
truly are fit to be my
私の
master.
マスターにふさわしい
I don't know how to respond to comments like that, so I wish he'd stop making them.
サーバントにマスター
Servants may not have the right to choose their masters, but what makes you think I'm worthy of you?
なんで私があなたのマスターにふさわしいのよ
言うまでもない
Do I need to spell it out? It's because you are, without a doubt, the strongest master.
使える相手として
I don't need any other
これ以
reason
上
than
の
that.
ものはない
そう
Oh,
ありがとう
well,
あなたに言われるなら
that doesn't sound like flattery coming from you. I turn away to hide my embarrassment. Archer usually acts like a smartass, so this sincerity is blindsiding me. Admittedly, I'm happy he feels this way. I've come to trust him, and he's come to trust me. I don't think this mutual sentiment is a bad thing.
さてならば
I suppose we
一つ
should take a
言えよ
breather then. The seventh master has yet
七
to
人
appear,
目
but
の
it
マ
might
スタ
not
ー
happen
が
right.
現れるにせよ
Wait,
それは今すぐ
Lian, what happened to your jewelry?
飾り
My
って
jewelry? Oh, you mean the pendant? Ah, I forgot it back there. It doesn't have any power anymore, so I don't really need it, do I?
それはそうだが
I suppose not, if you say so.
ええ
Yeah, it's a keepsake from father, but it's hardly the only memory I have of him.
思い出はあれだけ
よくはない
Don't say that. You don't
そこ
always
ま
have
で
to act
強
so
くあることは
strongly.
ないだろう
As he nags me, Archer holds out the pendant I left at school. Oh,
拾いに
you
行ってくれ
picked
た
it
ん
up for
だ
me.
あちゃ
もう忘れるな
Don't lose it again.
それは
It really belongs with you, I
しか
mean.
似合わない
Archer avoids eye contact as he passes the pendant to me, looking almost bashful.
そう
Okay,
じゃあありがとう
I accept it. To be honest, I'm not sure whether to be embarrassed or play it off right now. The pendant is as I left it. As I thought, it really doesn't have any energy left. It's just an expensive jewel now that it's empty. But to put it in Archer's terms, maybe it still has meaning as a memento of my father, even without his power. I suppose I can laugh this off as a net win since I spent my trump card to save someone's life.
ちょ待った
Wait a second. I jolt up in my seat. I wasn't thinking straight while I lamented what I lost, but as I pull myself together, it strikes me. He saw us, so I ought to alter his memories. Meanwhile, Lancer prioritized eliminating witnesses over fighting us. Lancer's thinking should reflect that of his master, which means if a master who went out of their way to kill a witness finds out that he survived,
そんなやつ生かして
they
おく
won't let him live. I stand up from the sofa. It's already been 3 hours. I might not make it in time, but I can't let this happen, not after all the trouble I went through. I sprint through the night. Fortunately, I know where he lives. Not because I bothered to find out, but because someone I happen to know goes over to this place often. I've never been there personally.
全く
Good grief.
余計な苦
You're
労を
really
背
making
負お
this
うと
harder
し
on
ているぞ
yourself.
君は
Archer gripes unenthusiastically. It's going to be as much of a struggle to rescue this guy now as it was to save him earlier. It's midnight. The sky is shrouded in clouds. I arrive at an old samurai estate. The building closest to the outside shows no signs of life. There aren't many neighboring houses, so it's unlikely anyone would come even if they noticed something was amiss. My breath mists white. The wind picks up. It must be pretty strong because the clouds are starting to move. I find myself trembling despite the temperate Fuyuki weather, and a chill runs down my spine. People call Fuyuki a warm place, but you can feel the winter chill from the hilltops. The air is bitingly cold. The chill presses in and makes it hard to hear.
In the midst of this air that seems conquered by the cold, I keenly sense the enemy.
いる
He's
さっき
here.
のサーバント
The Lancer from earlier. I bite my lip. Something's on the other side of the outer wall. Lancer must have already infiltrated the house, waiting for its witless owner to come home to his death.
飛び越えて倒すしかない
We just have to jump
その後
over.
のことは
I'll think about what happens when it happens. Just as I'm about to order Archer to go in. A flash. From the house emerges a radiant white light, bright as the sun. Its presence is all-consuming. The power radiating from Lancer is being washed away by the newcomer's even greater aura. An instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spirit physical form. And the summoned being overpowers Lancer.
嘘
No way! All I can do is whisper in awe, but the truth is staring me in the face. As if to prove the point, Lancer bounds over the wall, fleeing the compound.
ねえあーちゃん
Hey, Archer, is that one of your hypotheticals?
さあな
Perhaps?
だが
But now all 7 of them are here, Ian!
ついに数が揃った
Archer's calm. Meanwhile, my rational thought goes flying out the window. What happens next should have been obvious, but I'm not thinking straight. There's a strong gust of wind. The clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. Darkness shrouds the lightless outskirts of the town. A servant leaps over the wall and lands gracefully like an unworldly bird. Archer reacts. I fail to even twitch in response. That's my fault. The fight ends before even a second passes. 1 second might be a brief instant to me, but it's a massive opening to a servant. A bladed wind closes in on me. Archer? Archer lunges in front of me, while the servant cuts him deeply. It really was just an instant. Is Archer, who so gracefully fended off Lancer's brutal assault, going down in 1 hit?
あーちゃん消えて
Vanish, Archer! I made it in time. Before the servant's next strike takes off Archer's head, I force him to retreat. Pain throbs in my right hand. But it was such an extreme order, it used up one of my command spells! Now I only have 1 left! But this was for the best. It's worth losing a command spell or 2 to make sure Archer doesn't die. Without skipping a beat, the servant comes for me next.
なめるな
Don't underestimate me! I pull out a wind-imbued topaz and feed magical energy directly into it without any extra steps.
It's a cluster of wind spells that I've been feeding into it day after day, and they're enough to blow away a house or 2 without leaving a trace. This is one of 10 jewels I've been building up for the last 17 years without skipping a single day.
Even if I can't beat this thing with it, it should be enough to slow... Or not. It didn't work at all. The moment it touches the servant, what ought to have been a tempest that would hew apart anything in its path disappears like a simple stage magic trick. What terrifying magic resistance! Are you telling me that a mage doesn't have enough magical energy to hurt this servant? Oh no. My magecraft doesn't work, and I've lost Archer's protection. I have no way to stop this servant. Even if I barely manage to dodge the first attack, I'm finished. I look up at the night sky. In it, I imagine a ruthless reaper coming for me, sprawled pitifully on the ground. The wind blows. Through a break in the clouds, the moon peeks out through the spiral-like sky. The moonlight highlights her elegant profile. So this is the face of the servant who drove off Lancer. Took down my archer in 1 blow, and shrugged off my magecraft like it was nothing.
今の魔術は見事だったメイガス
That was an admirable display of magecraft, mage. The girl's voice rings clear like a bell. Yet her voice is the stuff of nightmares at this moment.
だが最後だ
But this is the end for you, Master of Archer. The sword she thrust at me seems to shine. I know that this is my dying moment. 1 glance is enough to figure that out. This is the card I wish to draw. The sword-wielding hero said to be the most powerful servant. I look up at the moon, prepared to die. There's no room to beg for my life, no time to escape. With my death, Rin Tosaka's Holy Grail War will have ended on the 3rd day. You'd think I'd go out hating my foe, feeling nothing but shame and regret, but I don't feel that way at all. Something's seriously wrong with me. I'm one moment away from certain death, and here I am entranced by my killer. Yeah, it's frustrating to be sure, but there's nothing I can do now. The strongest servant is going to kill me. She looks all at once heartless, utterly noble, and oh, so very beautiful.
What? What?